Chapter 567. At this moment, a disciple was hurriedly rushing over from Shi Tong's small courtyard. Senior brother Shi Tong, I was at Elder Tan's residence and discovered that Mo Qingyun had left the Mao Fu sect by himself. The disciple entered the small courtyard and reported Mo Qingyun's whereabouts to Shi Tong with a grave expression. Oh, Mo Qingyun has left the Mao Fu sect? Shi Tong revealed a shocked expression. A trace of pleasant surprise flashed across his eyes as the corners of his mouth curled into a sneer. Mo Qingyun, I was just worrying about how to deal with you. I never imagined that you would actually deliver yourself to me. Junior brothers, now that Mo Qingyun has left the Mao Fu sect by himself, this is the best opportunity to deal with him. Shi Tong revealed a pleased sneer as he instructed the Shaoli duo. As long as the two of you help me get rid of Mo Qingyun, I will increase the reward I previously promised you by 10%. Increase by 10%. Xiao Li and Xiao Li's expressions immediately changed when they heard Shi Tong's words. A trace of excitement flashed across their eyes. However, while Xiao Li and Xiao Li were tempted, Xiao Li and Xiao Li's eyes also revealed some worry as they said in a deep voice, Senior brother Shi Tong, it won't be difficult for the two of us to deal with Mo Qingyun together. However, the demonic beast expert beside him is extremely troublesome. I'm afraid that the two of us will not be able to deal with it. Junior brothers need not worry about this. I have already thought of a plan to deal with it. Shi Tong had anticipated that the Shaoli duo would say such a thing. When he heard their words, he turned his head towards the black-robed elder beside him and said, Shi clan elder, follow these two junior brothers and help them stop that demonic beast expert. Yes, young master Shi Tong. Hearing Shi Tong's words, the old man wrapped in a black robe next to him responded with his hoarse voice. At the same time, the black-robed elder's body also emitted the aura of a six-seal Great Symbol Master. Six-seal Great Symbol Master. The expressions of the two immediately changed when they sensed the black-robed old man's presence. They looked at Shi Tong in shock and said, Senior Shi Tong, this old man is... The elder of the Shi clan is one of my clan uncles. He is a talisman master at the middle stage of the Sixth Seal. When he saw that the Shaoli duo was curious about the black-robed elder's identity, Shi Tong gave them an introduction before sneering. Junior brothers, please be at ease. With the Shi clan elder's Sixth Seal mid-tier symbol master cultivation, the demonic beast expert beside Mo Qingyun is nothing to worry about. Hearing Shi Tong's words, Xiao Li and the other two sneered and replied, Since an elder from the Shi clan has taken action against the demonic beast expert by Mo Qingyun's side, Mo Qingyun will definitely die this time. If that's the case, I wish you all the best. Shi Tong smiled faintly and congratulated Xiao Li and the other two before sending them out of the small courtyard. At this moment, while Shi Tong and the others were secretly plotting how to deal with Mo Qingyun, Mo Qingyun had already set foot on the path to Gravestone Mountain. He had Tainyo lead Hexian forward at top speed. Gravestone Mountain wasn't very far from the Mao Fu sect. Half a day later, Mo Qingyun arrived at the outskirts of Gravestone Mountain with Tainyo at full speed. Due to the large number of zombies on Gravestone Mountain, Mo Qingyun didn't let Tainyo recklessly fly into Gravestone Mountain. Instead, he walked with Tainyo and slowly ventured deeper into Gravestone Mountain. Roar! After a short while, several hundred zombies appeared before Mo Qingyun and attacked him with bared fangs and brandished claws. Tainyo attack. Mo Qingyun's expression darkened when he saw the zombies charging at him at top speed. He ordered Tainyo beside him. Tainyo didn't dare hesitate when he heard Mo Qingyun's order. He immediately raised his hand and blasted the zombies with his palm. Immediately after, a terrifying wave of origin power erupted from Tainyo's claw and transformed into an iron claw shadow. These zombies were only at the true energy realm. How could they block Tainyo's palm? Bang! Under Tainyo's palm, the zombies were instantly smashed into the ground and exploded one by one. Hundreds of zombies were instantly killed with a single palm. Seeing that Tainyo had dealt with the zombies, Mo Qingyun no longer hesitated and continued to advance deeper into Gravestone Mountain. As Mo Qingyun ventured deeper into Tombstone Mountain, the number of rotting corpses and zombies he encountered increased. Their strength also increased. This can't go on. With Tainyo's current strength, he won't be able to deal with the copper-armored zombies if we encounter them. Mo Qingyun frowned when he saw the increasing number of zombies as he pondered over how to deal with them. I've got it. I almost forgot about them. After pondering for a while, Mo Qingyun's eyes lit up as he came up with a solution. After refining the fruit worm and the formation-devouring spirit bug, Demon's physique changed and her strength increased tremendously. It should be a good choice to let them deal with these zombies. With this thought, Mo Qingyun no longer hesitated and prepared to summon Demon from Hexian Palace. Just as Mo Qingyun was about to summon Demon to help him deal with the zombies, a few figures approached him at an extremely fast speed. As these figures approached, they emitted a cold aura that was mixed with a murderous intent. These figures were none other than Xiao Li and the others who had left Shirtong's small courtyard. Mo Qingyun, I didn't expect you to be so fast. You passed through the periphery of Tombstone Mountain so quickly. Xiao Li looked at Mo Qingyun in front of him with a sinister smile. His gaze was cold as he said, "If we weren't fast enough, it would have been troublesome for us to find you once you entered the interior of Tombstone Mountain." "Find me?" Mo Qingyun frowned, and his gaze turned cold. He said indifferently, "Who are you? I don't think I know you." At this moment, Mo Qingyun sensed a strong murderous intent from these people. Obviously, they didn't come with good intentions. Especially from the black-robed elder. Mo Qingyun sensed an aura that was comparable to a heavenly dipper intermediate expert. Judging from this, the black-robed elder should be a 6-seal intermediate talisman master. A 6-seal intermediate talisman master and 2 5th-seal peak talisman masters teamed up to deal with him. It seemed that they came prepared. It's not important that you don't know us. What's important is that someone paid us a high price to take your life. In response to Mo Qingyun's words, a sinister smile appeared on Xiao Li's face. He said coldly, "Mo Qingyun, I know there's an expert comparable to a 6-seal great talisman master by your side. However, with the Sure clan elder here, the result will be the same even if he attacks. I advise you to obediently surrender." Sure clan? Chapter 568. Mo Qingyun, you actually know who we are? When they heard Mo Qingyun's words, Xiao Li and the other man's expressions changed. They were shocked. Mo Qingyun was able to guess their identities from just a few words. This kind of intelligence wasn't simple at all. As expected, Mo Qingyun's gaze turned cold when he saw Xiao Li and the other man's reaction. He said coldly, "I didn't expect that 2 more would come after I dealt with Dan Qing. It seems that the Mao Fu sect has quite a few young sect masters." Xiao Li and the other man's expressions turned cold when they heard Mo Qingyun's words. They sneered and said, "You're right. The Mao Fu sect does have quite a few young sect masters. They should have decreased a bit. Sure clan elder, I'll have to trouble you to deal with that demonic beast expert." When Xiao Li's words fell, he no longer hesitated, immediately giving Sure Yi an order. After instructing Sure clan, Xiao Li no longer hesitated and began to attack Mo Qingyun. The brown-haired youth at the side also hastily attacked Mo Qingyun when he saw Xiao Li attacking Mo Qingyun. When Xiao Li and the other 2 attacked, the Sure clan elder summoned a huge, long-haired zombie. After summoning the zombie, the Sure clan elder took out a blood-colored talisman and pasted it on the zombie's forehead. When the blood-colored talisman was pasted on the zombie's forehead, the zombie opened its eyes. Its eyes flashed with a blood-red light. This is the corpse talisman sect's life, reversing, awakening talisman. Xiao Li and the other man's expressions immediately twitched when they saw the Sure clan elder attack. They were shocked. They really didn't expect the Sure clan elder to be a member of the corpse talisman sect. The corpse talisman sect had always been at odds with the Mao Fu sect. Their relationship could be said to be like fire and water. Yet, Shirtong had actually asked an elder of the corpse talisman sect for help. Xiao Li and the other man found this hard to believe. They found it hard to accept. Xiao Li and the other man were both smart people. After a brief moment of shock, they understood the crux of the matter. Previously, Shurtong had told the two of them that Shurgu was an elder in his clan. If that was the case, wouldn't Shurtong also be a member of the Corpse Talisman sect? In other words, Shurtong was a spy sent by the Corpse Talisman sect to the Mao Talisman sect. Senior brother Shurtong. He is. After understanding this point, Xiao Li and the other man's hearts were immediately filled with shock. At this moment, they were all quite frightened by this discovery. They looked at Shi Jia with terrified expressions. I didn't expect you to be so smart. You actually managed to guess my identity. Seeing that the Xiao Li duo knew his identity, Shi Fa revealed a sinister cold smile and said, Since it's like this old man will first kill you too, then go kill that Mo Qinyan. Long-haired zombie, kill the two of them. After Shurgu finished saying those words, he ordered the long-haired zombie to attack Xiao Li and Xiao Chong. Immediately after, a terrifying corpse aura erupted from the body of the long-haired zombie, and it rapidly attacked Xiao Li and the other man. Kill us. Seeing the long-haired zombie rapidly attacking the two of them, Xiao Li and the other man's expressions immediately twitched. They revealed a panicked expression and said, Elder Shurgu, are you mistaken? We are people from the same faction. People from the same faction? Shurgu looked at Xiao Li and the other man with a mocking expression and said, Young sect masters, are you joking with this old man? When did our Corpse Talisman sect become the same faction as your Thatch Talisman sect? Internal strife? Seeing the scene before him, Mo Qingyun's face revealed a surprised expression. He was somewhat surprised by the change in the situation. Seeing this, Mo Qingyun revealed a playful smile and leisurely looked at the internal strife between Xiao Li and the other two. This kind of dog-eat-dog scene wasn't something that could be seen often. Elder Shurgu, what do you mean by this? If you kill us, aren't you afraid that senior brother Shurtong will blame you? At this moment, Xiao Li could only bring up Shurtong, hoping to use Shurtong to intimidate Shurgu. He prayed in his heart. This wasn't Shurtong's idea, but Shurji's own idea that had arisen in his mind. Young Master Shurtong will blame this old man? What great joke, huh? Hearing Xiao Li and the other man's words, Shurgu immediately laughed loudly and said, Young sect masters, seeing that you too are naive, this old man will tell you the truth. It was young Master Shurtong's idea to kill you too. Bang! At this moment, under the attack of the long-haired zombie, Xiao Li and the other man were sent flying with a palm strike. PFFF. After being hit by the long-haired zombie's palm, Xiao Li and the other man immediately vomited blood and fell to the ground with pale faces. Why? Why does senior brother Shurtong want to kill us? Xiao Li and the other man's faces were pale as they revealed an expression of disbelief. They couldn't accept this result. The two of them were invited by Shurtong and given a generous reward to deal with Mo Qingyun. However, before they could deal with Mo Qingyun, Shurtong had already dealt with them. One had to admit that this result was quite ironic. Isn't this simple enough? The Corpse Talisman sect wants to support Shurtong to become the future sect master of the Mao Talisman sect. Looking at Xiao Li and the other man lying on the ground, Mo Qingyun shook his head and said with a faint smile, As the young sect masters of the Mao Talisman sect, you two will be Shurtong's competitors in the future. Do you think Shurtong will tolerate your growth? Shurtong is ruthless. After hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Xiao Li and the other man revealed an expression of understanding and anger. Shurtong, since you are so heartless, then blame me for being unjust. Xiao Li revealed a sinister expression and gritted his teeth as he muttered to himself. He then turned to Mo Qingyun and said coldly, Mo Qingyun, since Shurtong wants to deal with us, why don't we join forces? Join forces? Hearing Xiao Li's words, Mo Qingyun looked at him with disdain and said with disdain, I, Mo Qingyun, don't join forces with trash. Moreover, you two are about to die. You're even less qualified to join forces with me. Mo Qingyun, what do you mean by this? Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Xiao Li's face immediately darkened. His expression was somewhat displeased as he said, "Don't tell me you think that you can deal with Shurgo by yourself? Whether or not I can deal with him is my business." Mo Qingyun smiled indifferently in reply to Xiao Li. He then turned to look at Shurgu and said, "Corpse Talisman Sect, right? Very well. Since your Corpse Talisman Sect seeks its own destruction, I will fulfill your wish." "Brat, you have quite the tone. I want to see what kind of means you have." Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Shurgu coldly snorted and looked at Mo Qingyun with disdain. However, before Shurgu finished speaking, his mouth immediately opened wide, and his eyes widened as he looked around Mo Qingyun. At this moment, demonic beasts with palace-like eyes appeared around Mo Qingyun. What kind of demonic beast is this?" Seeing the eyed demon beside Mo Qingyun, Shurgu and the other two people's expressions twitched. They looked at Mo Qingyun with reverence. Chapter 569. Mo-san, kill him immediately. After summoning Eye Demon, Mo Qingyun ordered the Eye Demons to kill Shi Tong coldly. "Yes, Queen Mother." After receiving Mo Qingyun's order, the Eye Demons immediately shot their eye force rays at Shi Tong and the long-haired zombie. Shush, shush, shush. Immediately after, rays of eye power shot out from Eye Demon's eyes and bombarded the long-haired zombie and Shi Fa's bodies forcefully. Poof, poof, poof. After being hit by the Eye Demon's eye force rays, Shi Tong and the long-haired zombie's bodies immediately had corroded wounds. Not only that, Shi Tong also felt that he was trapped in a formation and couldn't get out. What kind of demonic beast is this? Why does it have such a strange technique? After discovering this, Shi Fa's expression changed greatly, and he revealed a frightened expression. The feeling that Eye Demon gave him was too strange. Mo Qingyun, he actually has such a trump card. Seeing that Shi Tong was unable to fight back under Eye Demon's attack, Xiao Li and the other man were shocked. At this moment, they finally understood how big the gap between them and Mo Qingyun was. What was laughable was that they thought they were infallible and wanted to deal with Mo Qingyun with their little bit of ability. Light Gate Martial Soul appear. Just as everyone was shocked by Mo Qingyun's technique, Mo Qingyun summoned his Light Gate Martial Soul. After that, a light gate that gave off an ancient aura appeared above Mo Qingyun. What technique is this? Seeing the Light Gate Martial Soul above Mo Qingyun, Xiao Li and the other man's expressions changed again, and the shock in their eyes became more intense. "Seal Gate, seal for me." Mo Qingyun didn't care about everyone's shock, and he immediately used his martial soul superpower on Shi Tong. After that, a mini version of the Light Gate was blasted into Shi Tong's body by Mo Qingyun. Poof! After being hit by the Seal Gate, Shi Tong immediately spat out a mouthful of blood, and his face turned pale. At the same time, the aura on Shi Jia's body also weakened rapidly. Not long after, Shi Fa's aura dropped from the middle stage of the Sixth Seal to the early stage of the Sixth Seal. Well, what's going on? Why did my cultivation drop? Sensing that his cultivation base had dropped, Shi Fa immediately revealed a shocked expression and spoke in a panic. The scene before his eyes was simply too bizarre. Hiss! Mo Qingyun actually knows how to seal the cultivation of others. Seeing that Shi Jia's aura had weakened, Xiao Li and the other man immediately sucked in a breath of cold air. They looked at Mo Qingyun with even more reverence. However, before the three people from the Shi clan could recover from their shock, Mo Qingyun attacked again. "Iron Bull, merge with me." After instructing Iron Bull, Mo Qingyun no longer hesitated and immediately used the Fusion Gate. Then, the shadow of the two light gates enveloped Mo Qingyun and Iron Bull and merged them together. As Mo Qingyun and Iron Bull merged, the aura on his body rose sharply. Not long after, the aura emitted from Qingyun's body reached the level of the Heaven Dipper realm. Merge? Comparable to a Sixth Seal Talisman Master's aura? How is this possible? How can there be such a heaven-defying ability? Ooh, is this Mo Qingyun? Why does he know so many powerful techniques? Sensing the change in Mo Qingyun's aura, the three people from the Shi clan immediately twitched. They were extremely terrified of Mo Qingyun, Xiao's heavenly spirit finger. While the three people from the Shi clan were horrified, Mo Qingyun pointed his finger and a terrifying fluctuation of origin energy erupted. Then, the sky changed color. The wind and clouds gathered and rapidly formed a terrifying vortex. After the whirlpool was formed, a huge black finger flew out at an extremely fast speed, bursting with a terrifying aura. After that, the enormous black finger carried a terrifying storm of origin energy as it smashed down towards Shijia with extreme speed. What a terrifying attack! Sensing the fluctuation of origin energy emitted by the huge black finger, the three people from the Shi clan instantly changed their expressions and revealed a panicked expression. Run! At the same time, Shi clan didn't dare to stay any longer and immediately prepared to turn around and flee. However, before Shi clan could turn around and leave, the huge black finger approached him. Dazzling gold armor talisman. Looking at the huge black finger that was rapidly approaching, Shi clan didn't dare to hesitate in the slightest. He immediately took out a blue talisman and activated it to stick it on his body. Once the blue talisman was stuck on Shi clan's body, a golden light erupted from Shi clan's body and enveloped him within it. Bang! The huge black finger collided with Shi clan's body and immediately exploded with a loud bang, and a terrifying origin energy storm burst forth. As soon as this origin energy storm formed, it immediately swallowed Shi clan and madly revolved in the air. After a short moment, the origin energy storm finally calmed down. Then, Shi clan's figure appeared before everyone's eyes. At this moment, there wasn't the slightest fluctuation of aura on Shi clan's body, and there was a huge hole in his chest. Judging from the size of the hole, it should have been caused by the huge black finger from before and directly pierced through his body. After seeing this scene, the expressions of Xiao Li and the other person at the side instantly changed, and they were stunned on the spot. Shi clan was dead. Shi clan, who possessed the cultivation of a six-seal intermediate great symbol master, was domineeringly killed by Mo Qingyun just like that. Such an outcome was truly beyond their expectations. At this moment, in the minds of Xiao Li and the other person, they unconsciously recalled Mo Qingyun's words from before. Since the Corpse Talisman sect was courting death, then he would go destroy the Corpse Talisman sect. From a scene before their eyes, when Mo Qingyun said that he wanted to annihilate the Corpse Talisman sect, it wasn't empty talk, and he really did possess the ability to do so. After Mo Qingyun executed the Xiao's heavenly spirit finger and domineeringly killed Shi clan, he and Tainyo also dispelled their combined state. After dispelling his combined state with Tainyo, Mo Qingyun's expression was cold and indifferent. He turned his head to look at Xiao Li and the other person and coldly said, "Since Shi clan has already been killed, the two of you can accompany him." Mo Qingyun, we were wrong. Don't kill me. After hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Xiao Li and the other person's expressions immediately twitched, and they hurriedly begged Mo Qingyun for mercy. At this moment, when Xiao Li and the other person opened their mouths to beg for mercy, a ray of light exploded from Mo Qingyun's eyes. As soon as this ray of light appeared, it transformed into a ray of light from the eyes and rapidly blasted towards Xiao Li and the other person. This ray of light is that, seeing the ray of light from the eyes attacking the two of them, Xiao Li and the other person's eyes immediately widened and their faces revealed expressions of shock. Mo Qingyun actually also knew the means of that demon beast. This scene was truly too frightening. Now that Xiao Li and the other person only had half of their lives left, they were practically unable to resist Mo Qingyun's ray of light from the eyes and were killed. Chapter 570. After killing the long-haired zombie, Devil began to move towards the long-haired zombie, devouring and refining its corpse. As the eye demon devoured and refined the corpse of the long-haired zombie, Mo Chinyan discovered that some of the eye demons began to grow a faint layer of hair. The eye demon can actually devour and refine the corpse of the zombie. After this discovery, Mo Chinyan's expression immediately became even more joyful. He said, "If that's the case, doesn't that mean I can have the eye demons hunt zombies and use them to increase their strength?" Thinking of this, Mo Chinyan no longer hesitated and immediately decided to test it out. Afterwards, Mo Chinyan walked towards the 3 Sure clan members and took away their Chinkoan bags. After taking away the 3 Sure clan members' Chinkoan bags, Mo Chinyan did not linger and led the eye demons into the depths of Graveyard Mountain. On the way to the depths of Graveyard Mountain, Mo Chinyan opened the 3 Sure clan members' Chinkoan bags and looked through the items within. After looking through the bags, the 2 items in the 3 Sure clan members' Chinkoan bags attracted Mo Chinyan's attention. One of the items was a talisman that looked like a doll. It contained an obscure ripple of energy. The other item was a tattered map with an ancient formation drawn on it. After carefully examining the 2 items, Mo Chinyan saw that he could not identify their origins, so he carefully put them away. After putting away the tattered map and the doll talisman, Mo Chinyan did not linger and continued deeper in a Graveyard Mountain with the eye demon. Along the way, Mo Chinyan's journey became much smoother due to the eye demon's killing of the zombies. Several days later, Mo Chinyan finally arrived at the inner region of Graveyard Mountain after traveling at full speed. After entering the inner region of Graveyard Mountain, the zombies had become much stronger. Bronze-armored zombies would appear from time to time. However, the eye demon's strength had increased in the past few days, and the corrosive power of their eye rays had become much stronger as well. Therefore, the bronze-armored zombies did not pose much of a threat to the eye demon now. Next, Mo Chinyan led the eye demon deeper into Graveyard Mountain to kill the zombies. At this moment, a shocking image exploded from the eye demon's body. Heavenly Dipper image. The eye demon's cultivation has broken through to the Heavenly Dipper realm. After this discovery, Mo Chinyan's expression immediately became ecstatic and excited. At the same time, Mo Chinyan noticed that the scales on the eye demon's body were beginning to change from black iron to bronze. The scales on the surface of the eye demon scales, are changing from iron to bronze. Mo Chinyan thought to himself when he saw the changes in the eye demon scales. He said excitedly, "Could it be that as the eye demons continue to refine the zombies, their scales will evolve from black iron to bronze, silver, and gold?" With this thought, the eye of the demons is the Dipper, Heavenly Dipper, this. If that was the case, wouldn't the eye demon's strength continue to break through to the divine and sovereign realms? A transcendent and supreme realm, eye devil. Thinking of this, Mo Chinyan immediately became excited, and his heartbeat quickened a bit. Just think about it. What kind of scene would it be to have hundreds of thousands of transcendent and supreme realm eye demons behind him? By then, even if all the forces of the 7 ancient roads joined forces, they might not be a match for hundreds of thousands of eye demons. Thinking of this, Mo Chinyan could not wait and brought the eye demon deeper into Graveyard Mountain. In the following days, Mo Chinyan let the eye demon kill the zombies and refine them to increase their strength as they traveled. 10 days later, Mo Chinyan finally arrived at the north side of Graveyard Mountain and entered the innermost part of Graveyard Mountain. At this moment, the number of eye demons that had broken through to the Heavenly Dipper realm had reached 1,000. 1,000 Heavenly Dipper realm eye demons. Now, even if I meet a Heavenly Dipper realm expert, I won't be afraid. Looking at the 1,000 Heavenly Dipper realm eye demons, Mo Chinyan was overjoyed and excited. He thought to himself, if I have 10,000 Heavenly Dipper realm eye demons, no one will be able to threaten me as long as there are no divine ability experts. Thinking of this, Mo Chinyan began to sweep through the north side of Graveyard Mountain, looking for the undying spring water and killing the zombies around. Just like that, 3 days later. At this moment, a gurgling spring water appeared in front of Mo Chinyan. Looking at the flowing spring water, Mo Qingyun sensed a pure death energy from it. This is the undying spring water. Sensing the death energy in the spring water, Mo Qingyun was pleasantly surprised and quickly walked towards the undying spring water. Senior brother, come over quickly. The undying spring water is here. Just as Mo Qingyun was walking towards the undying spring water, a surprised voice entered his ears. Then, Mo Qingyun saw a beautiful young girl standing on a blue talisman and flying to the side of the undying spring water. Behind the beautiful young girl, there was a young man and a young girl who also flew over on blue talismans. Six Seal, Great Talisman Master. Seeing the three people in front of him, Mo Qingyun immediately frowned and stopped in his tracks. This was because the talismans under the three people's feet exuded an aura that was comparable to a divine ability expert. This was a pseudo-seven seal talisman that could unleash an attack comparable to a divine ability expert. Facing three people with such trump cards, Mo Qingyun had to be careful. After all, the number of Heavenly Dipper Realm demons he had now barely reached 2,000. It is indeed the undying spring water. The young man came close to the undying spring water and glanced at it. He frowned and said, "Where there is the undying spring water, there must be an undying salamander beast. As long as we kill an undying salamander beast, we can use its blood to draw an undying general talisman. Junior sisters, the undying salamander beast should be nearby. Let's split up and search." The young man glanced around the undying spring water and instructed the two girls before starting to search nearby. Yes. Hearing the young man's words, the two girls did not hesitate and immediately searched around the undying spring water. Roar! Not long after, a huge black demonic beast leaped out of the undying spring water and spat out a mouthful of black liquid at the young girl in purple. Junior sister Ziling, be careful. Seeing the black demonic beast attacking the young girl in purple, the young man's face immediately darkened, and he warned the young girl in purple. Oof. Seeing the black demonic beast attacking her, the young girl in purple shouted and took out a blue talisman. Bright Moon Projection Talisman. Once the blue talisman was taken out by the young girl in purple, it was immediately activated and formed a blue light screen. As soon as the light screen appeared, it blocked the black demonic beast attack and reflected it back at the black demonic beast. Bang! Hit by the reflected attack, the black demonic beast was immediately sent flying and fell into the undying spring. That's an undying salamander beast. Junior sisters, follow me. Chapter 571. Three-Eyed General Talisman. As the young man charged at the undying salamander beast, he took out a blue-green talisman and activated it without hesitation. As the three-eyed divine general talisman was activated, a humanoid figure with 3 eyes appeared from the talisman. As soon as the three-eyed human figure appeared, it burst out with a bright light that enveloped the young man. It began to merge with the young man and become one with him. After fusing with the three-eyed humanoid shadow, a golden shadow of a golden eye appeared between the young man's eyebrows. Senior brother Zifeng, he activated the three-eyed general talisman. Seeing the young man's actions, the two girls beside him were shocked, and their eyes were filled with admiration. It is said that the three-eyed general talisman was created by an ancient talisman Dao expert who copied the Desolate Era's three-eyed general. Looking at Zifeng's three-eyed general talisman, the blue-clothed girl said with admiration, although senior brother Zifeng's three-eyed general talisman is only a talisman puppet of the real three-eyed general talisman. With the help of the talisman, senior brother Zifeng now possesses 1/10,000th of the Desolate Era's three-eyed general talisman strength. I heard that the talisman puppet of the three-eyed general talisman was a reward for senior brother Zifeng for ranking 9th in the Myriad Talisman Immortal Gathering. After the blue-clothed girl finished speaking, the purple-clothed girl also looked at Zifeng with admiration and anticipation. Heavenly Dog, appear. At that moment, when the two young women were speaking in astonishment, Zifeng raised his hand and waved, summoning the image of a black divine hound. The moment the black divine dog shadow appeared, it sniffed around the undying spring, searching for traces of the undying salamander beast. Woof woof. A few minutes later, the divine dog shadow barked crazily at a crack in the undying spring. Heavenly eye open. Zifeng's face darkened when he saw the divine dog shadow's actions. He raised his hand and formed a seal, pointing at the golden eye shadow between his eyebrows. Mo Qingyun saw the golden eye shadow between Zifeng's eyebrows slowly leave his forehead and fly into the air. Whoosh! Then, the golden eye shadow that flew into the air suddenly shot out a beam of light with an astonishing aura. Bang! Under the bombardment of this gaze, the crack in the stone where the divine dog shadow was roaring was instantly blasted apart, and gravel flew everywhere. Roar! The undying salamander beast let out a roar and flew out from the crack in the rock. Vile spawn, why aren't you obediently being captured? Zifeng's face turned cold when he saw the undying salamander beast. He raised his hand and summoned a shadow halberd. After summoning the shadow halberd, Zifeng no longer hesitated and charged toward the undying salamander beast. Senior sister Zilan, let's join in and help senior brother Zifeng. Seeing Zifeng make his move, Ziling said something to the woman in blue beside her. She then took out a blue talisman and activated it. Jade Sky Goddess Impersonation Talisman. After Ziling activated the charm in her hand, a beautiful figure immediately flew out of the charm, exuding a holy aura and combining with Ziling Jade Sky Goddess Impersonation Talisman. Following closely behind Ziling, Zilan did not hesitate and took out a blue and green talisman to activate it. The blue talisman in Zilan's hand was activated, and a beautiful figure emerged from it and merged with her. Dragon Binding Rope. Golden Dragon Scissors. After the two women received the talismans, they attacked the undying salamander beast and used their strongest moves. Then, a dragon-like rope shadow appeared in the air and bound the undying salamander beast. The rope shadow was extremely fast. In the blink of an eye, it was beside the undying salamander beast and tied it up tightly. Roar! After the dragon-binding rope shadow tied the undying salamander beast, the scissors shadow split into two and turned into two dragon shadows that bombarded the undying salamander beast. Whoosh! The attack of the golden and silver dragons was extremely domineering. Under their attack, the undying salamander beast's body was directly penetrated. Then, two holes appeared on the undying salamander beast's body. It looked extremely hideous and terrifying. Slash! After the two women attacked, Zifeng did not hesitate. He held the halberd shadow in his hand and pierced the undying salamander beast's head. Then the undying salamander beast was killed by the three of them in an instant. It cannot resist at all. The talismans on the three of them are so powerful. Seeing the scene before him, Mo Qingyun was shocked. He could not calm down for a long time. This was the first time he had seen such a battle. If he had not come to the path of immortality this time, he would never have thought that there would be such a heaven-defying talisman in the world. Buzz at this moment, while Mo Qingyun was still in shock, the light gate martial spirit throbbed. Sensing the throbbing of the light door martial spirit, Mo Qingyun's expression changed, and a sense of shock rose in his heart. He could sense that the light gate martial spirit seemed to have an extremely close relationship and desire for the power of the three talismans. The light gate martial spirit actually desires the power of the three talismans. After realizing this, Mo Qingyun could not help but frown. He was puzzled. Could it be that the light gate martial spirit has some kind of connection with the talismans on the path of immortality? At this moment, while Mo Qingyun was puzzled, Zifeng frowned. He looked coldly in Mo Qingyun's direction and said coldly, "Who is hiding there? Come out." After Zifeng's words, the golden eye shadow in the air blasted a ray of light at Mo Qingyun's hiding place. Seeing this, Mo Qingyun did not hesitate. He immediately moved and appeared in front of the three of them. Fifth seal, Symbol Master. Seeing Mo Qingyun appear in front of them, Zifeng and the other two's expressions changed. They were surprised at Mo Qingyun's cultivation and said, "A fifth seal symbol master is actually able to come here. You're quite capable." "Not bad." Mo Qingyun smiled faintly and replied to Zifeng, "Kid, if it were any other day, you would be qualified to submit to me with your talent. However, you saw something you shouldn't have seen today." Zifeng had a look of pity on his face as he said coldly to Mo Qingyun, "The matter of the undying salamander beast cannot be spread. So, if you want to blame someone, you can only blame yourself for being unlucky and seeing something you shouldn't have seen." After Zifeng finished speaking, he no longer hesitated and directly slashed at Mo Qingyun with his halberd shadow. "Something I shouldn't have seen? Are you referring to the two of you?" Mo Qingyun revealed a mocking smile when he saw Zifeng charging towards him. His gaze swept over Zifeng and the other two as he said in a mocking tone, "One man and two women hiding in the wilderness might not necessarily be safe. Next time, you'd better take precautions." Chapter 572. 32nd SEAL Talisman soldiers were instantly taken out by Mo Qingyun and activated. Clang, clang, clang. When the 32nd SEAL Talisman soldiers were activated, they immediately emitted the sound of weapons leaving their sheaths and emitted waves of sharp aura. Second SEAL Talisman soldier. Looking at the second SEAL Talisman soldier that was charging towards him, Zifeng's expression could not help but be stunned. Then, he revealed a mocking expression and said, "Brat, looks like I overestimated you. I never expected that you would be so frightened by my attack that you even took out the wrong talisman. Also, before you die, let me tell you something. The more talismans there are, the more powerful they are." As Zifeng finished speaking, he waved the halberd shadow in his hand and attacked the 32nd SEAL Talisman soldiers. However, at that instant, when Zifeng attacked, an intense shock emerged on his face. He discovered that the second SEAL Talisman soldiers had actually arranged themselves and formed a Talisman soldier array. As the Talisman soldiers formed the array, its power instantly increased by who knew how many times. It was already comparable to a 6th SEAL Talisman. Talisman soldier array? Looking at the Talisman soldiers that formed the array, Zifeng's expression was slightly shocked. Then, he revealed a disdainful smile and said, "You indeed have some ability to come here alone. However, with just this bit of ability, I won't be able to save your life today." Heaven's eye opened. As Zifeng's words fell, the golden eye shadow in midair shot out a ray of golden light and shone on the Talisman soldier array. When the golden light shone on the Talisman soldier array, the various flaws of the Talisman soldier array instantly appeared in Zifeng's eyes. Seeing this, Zifeng revealed a cold smile. He waved the halberd shadow in his hand and slashed towards the flaws of the Talisman soldier array. Bang, bang, bang. As Zifeng slashed out with his halberd, the Talisman soldier array was instantly destroyed, and the second SEAL Talisman soldiers exploded one after another. "Brat, if you only have this bit of ability, I advise you to obediently accept your death." After destroying the Talisman soldier array with a single halberd, Zifeng revealed a sinister smile. The gaze he used to look at Mo Qingyun was filled with ridicule. It felt like a seasoned hunter toying with his prey. "Mo-san, let's combine." At this moment, when Zifeng destroyed the talisman formation, Mo Qingyun summoned the devil Imo forest and quickly merged with it. As of now, Mo-san was the strongest among the Eye Devils. He had already reached the peak of Heaven Dipper Stage 2 and was slightly stronger than Tainyo. Therefore, Mo Qingyun chose to fuse with it instead of fusing with the Iron Bull. After fusing with Mo-san, Mo Qingyun's aura immediately soared. Soon, he reached the peak of Heaven Dipper Stage 2. His aura was comparable to the peak of the initial stage of a 6th SEAL Symbol Master. Sensing the change in Mo Qingyun's aura, the expressions of Zifeng and the other two changed. Their eyes were filled with intense shock. Mo Qingyun's current performance was far beyond their expectations. "There's something strange about this kid," Junior sister Xiling, junior sister Xiling, come with me. Seeing Mo Qingyun's performance, Zifeng's expression turned serious as he instructed the two women beside him. Yes, senior brother. Hearing Zifeng's words, Ziling and Xilan no longer hesitated and immediately attacked Mo Qingyun. Then, a golden rope phantom flashed toward Mo Qingyun at an extremely fast speed. In the blink of an eye, the rope shadow arrived in front of Mo Qingyun and tied Mo Qingyun up tightly. Kid, now that I've been tied up by your dragon binding rope, I'd like to see what else you can do. Seeing Mo Qingyun bound by the dragon binding rope, Zifeng revealed a smug smile and attacked Mo Qingyun with extreme speed. Sky Piercer. As Zifeng's words fell, he waved the battle halberd shadow in his hand and forcefully stabbed towards Mo Qingyun's throat. As Zifeng's halberd stabbed out, a terrifying aura of an advanced Heaven Dipper stage instantly erupted from the battle halberd shadow. I Lightblade. Seeing Zifeng's attack, Mo Qingyun did not dare to hesitate and immediately activated his Heavenly Soul's right eye and released I Lightblade towards Zifeng. As soon as the I Lightblade was released, it emitted an aura that could threaten a Heaven Dipper stage expert and shot towards Zifeng at extreme speed. I light this kid's right eye. Seeing the I Lightblade shoot out from Mo Qingyun's right eye, Zifeng's expression immediately changed and revealed a look of surprise. He really did not expect Mo Qingyun to have such a trump card. After a short moment of shock, Zifeng moved to block the I Lightblade. At the same time, his hand movements also slowed down a little. At this moment, when Zifeng blocked the I Lightblade, Mo Qingyun took the opportunity to dodge his halberd. After dodging Zifeng's halberd, Mo Qingyun did not hesitate and immediately dispelled his fusion with Mo Senator. As Mo Qingyun and Mo Sun dispelled their fusion, the dragon binding rope's binding on him also lost its effect. What? This kid can actually break free from the dragon binding rope. Seeing Mo Qingyun break free from the dragon binding rope's binding, Zilan's face was immediately filled with shock. She was somewhat shocked by the scene in front of her. Golden Dragon Scissors. Seeing Mo Qingyun break free from the dragon binding rope's binding, Ziling controlled the Golden Dragon Scissors shadow and quickly cut towards Mo Qingyun. Facing the attack of the Golden Dragon Scissors, Mo Qingyun did not dare to hesitate and immediately took out the Scorching Flame halberd to block the attack. Clang! When the Golden Dragon Scissors shadow and the Scorching Flame halberd collided, a crisp sound immediately erupted, and a terrifying force erupted from it. Under this force, Mo Qingyun was immediately forced to retreat continuously, and he felt a surge of blood and qi in his body. Just with the support of the talismans, the magic treasure fall shadow that is condensed has the attack of a Heaven Dipper stage expert. These talismans are so powerful. Facing the attack of the Golden Dragon Scissors head-on, Mo Qingyun's expression immediately changed, and a sense of shock rose in his heart. At the same time, Mo Qingyun's curiosity towards the talismans became even stronger. Kid, no matter how many tricks you have up your sleeves, you will die today. After dissolving Mo Qingyun's gaze, Zifeng said coldly and once again attacked Mo Qingyun with extreme speed. While Zifeng was attacking Mo Qingyun, Ziling and Zilan were assisting from the side to attack Mo Qingyun. Seeing this scene, Mo Qingyun immediately frowned, and his mood became a little heavy. These three people's talismans are too powerful. With my current strength, I can deal with one of them, but to face all three at the same time is too difficult. Sealed door, seal for me. While Mo Qingyun was pondering, he didn't hesitate in the slightest. He immediately used the sealed door on Zifeng. Pucci. After being hit by the sealed door, Zifeng's soul was immediately sealed, causing him to spit out a mouthful of blood, and his face became pale. As his soul was sealed, the aura on Zifeng's body weakened rapidly. Chapter 573. My soul is being suppressed. I can't believe this kid has such a trick up his sleeve. Sensing that his soul was being suppressed, Zifeng was immediately shocked and looked at Mo Qingyun with some fear in his eyes. It was the first time in his life that he had seen such a technique that could suppress the soul of others. At this moment, Zifeng truly put away his contempt for Mo Qingyun and regarded Mo Qingyun as an equal opponent. Seal gate, seal for me. Mo Qingyun did not pay attention to Zifeng's shock and once again used his martial soul superpower on Ziling and Zilan. At a time like this, Mo Qingyun would not go soft on these two women just because of their beauty. Junior sisters, be careful. Seeing Mo Qingyun use the sealed door again, Zifeng's expression immediately changed, and he hurriedly warned Ziling and Zilan. However, just as Zifeng's words left his mouth, Ziling was hit by the sealed door and her soul was greatly suppressed. Then, Ziling's aura fell from the level of a 6th seal symbol master to the peak of a 5th seal symbol master. As Ziling's soul was suppressed, the golden dragon scissors, which were connected to her mind, also weakened. In Mo Qingyun's opinion, the shadow of Ziling's golden dragon scissors was too dangerous and it was safer to deal with her first. Junior sister Ziling, are you okay? Seeing Ziling being hit by the seal door, Zifeng's face was full of concern, and he quickly came to Ziling's side. I'm fine. Ziling shook her head and responded to Zifeng with a faint smile. She said, however, under that kid's attack, my soul was greatly suppressed. Now my cultivation is only equivalent to the peak of the 5th seal. It seems that this kid has mastered a technique that can suppress the soul of others. As he said this, a trace of greed flashed in Zifeng's eyes, as if he had designs on Mo Qingyun's sealed door. As soon as this thought appeared in his mind, Zifeng's gaze turned cold, and he said to the two girls, Junior sisters, this kid's methods are endless and endless. Today, we must not let him escape. Understood, senior brother Zifeng. Hearing Zifeng's words, the two girls' faces turned cold, and their eyes filled with murderous intent as they looked at Mo Qingyun. Immediately, the three of them joined forces and attacked Mo Qingyun together. These three people's origins are extraordinary, and their trump cards are definitely not limited to this. If this battle, it's disadvantageous for me. Mo Qingyun furrowed his brows when he saw the three of them attacking him at the same time. He thought to himself, once my martial soul's power is depleted and I come out of the merged state, I won't be a match for them. Therefore, I must get rid of these three people's hands. After thinking about this, Mo Qingyun made a plan in his heart. He decided to take advantage of the time before the power of his martial soul was exhausted to get rid of this hidden danger. Shaoza's his hands, fingers Zesmo's hand. Sis's hands, ate his hand's hand. His hands theirs. After Mo Qingyun pointed his finger, the wind and clouds in the air gathered and quickly formed a huge black whirlpool. After the black whirlpool was formed, the heavens and the earth immediately changed color. The light became dim and was covered by the black cloud whirlpool. What a powerful martial arts secret codex. Sensing the power of Mo Qingyun's finger, Zifeng's expression immediately tensed up. He said to Ziling and Zifeng, Junior sisters, be careful. This person's martial arts secret codex is very powerful. Hearing Zifeng's words, the two girls' expressions immediately tensed up, and they each took out a blue-green talisman. When Zifeng and the other two took out blue-green defensive talismans to block Mo Qingyun's attack, the enormous black finger stirred up a terrifying storm of origin energy, and it approached Zifeng's group of three like flying sand and rocks. Bang, bang, bang. Following that, a few earth-shattering sounds exploded in front of Zifeng and the other two, setting off a terrifying Yuan power storm. After Mo Qingyun used the Shaoza Heavenly Spirit Finger, he dispelled his fusion with Mo Sun, and his expression became somewhat pale. Kid, looks like you're already at the end of your rope and can no longer maintain your fusion. Seeing Mo Qingyun dispel his fusion, Zifeng's face revealed a pleased sneer. He looked at Mo Qingyun and coldly said, "Kid, now that you can no longer maintain your fusion, I'd like to see how you'll escape from the three of us with your fifth seal, symbol master cultivation." In Zifeng's opinion, now that Mo Qingyun had dispelled his fusion in front of the three of them, the only fate left was to be slaughtered by them. Hearing Zifeng's words, a sneer appeared at the corners of Mo Qingyun's mouth as he said, "The strength of the three of you is indeed a bit of a headache, but the three of you are still unable to keep me here. Shameless boasting. Looks like you won't cry until you see the coffin." Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Zifeng disdainfully replied, and his expression immediately turned cold. Following which, Zifeng no longer hesitated and immediately attacked Mo Qingyun. Seeing Zifeng charge towards him again, Mo Qingyun moved and arrived beside the undying salamander beast's corpse in a flash. "Since you want to kill me because of this undying salamander beast, I can only take it away." Arriving beside the undying salamander beast's corpse, Mo Qingyun faintly smiled as he raised his hand and placed the undying salamander beast's corpse into his chinquin bag. "Kid, you're courting death. Hurry up and put down the undying salamander beast's corpse." Seeing Mo Qingyun put away the undying salamander beast's corpse, Zifeng's expression immediately turned sinister as he coldly shouted at Mo Qingyun. The three of them had expended a lot of effort to hunt the undying salamander beast, and had only managed to kill one after much difficulty. Now that the undying salamander beast's corpse was taken away by Mo Qingyun, they could not accept it no matter what. Mo Qingyun directly chose to ignore Zifeng's cold words. Teleportation gate. After putting the undying salamander beast into his chinquin bag, Mo Qingyun opened the teleportation gate and directly stepped into it. Following which, Mo Qingyun's figure disappeared into the teleportation gate. In the blink of an eye, he had disappeared from the sight of Zifeng and the other two. "Damn kid, if I see you again, I'll definitely tear you to pieces." Seeing Mo Qingyun easily take away the undying salamander beast right before his eyes, Zifeng's expression immediately turned sinister. Mo Qingyun's current performance was undoubtedly a harsh slap to his face. In the previous battle, it seemed like they had forced Mo Qingyun away, but in their hearts, they knew very well that the three of them had actually lost. Not only had Mo Qingyun not been injured by their attacks, but he had also taken away the undying salamander beast's corpse. This outcome was simply a great humiliation to them. It was as if they had been fooled by Mo Qingyun. Chapter 574. Let's continue searching around the undying spring and see if there's a second undying salamander beast. Hearing the two girls' words, Zifeng calmed down the anger in his heart and said to the two girls, "Also, I'll immediately send a message to Master and have him order the various sects in the Immortal Path to find out where that brat came from. Senior brother Zifeng, you don't have to worry. As long as this brat is from the Immortal Path, he won't be able to escape." Hearing Zifeng's words, Zilan's pretty face frowned as she comforted Zifeng. Hearing Zilan's words, Zifeng's expression improved a little, but his face was still gloomy as he said, "Brat, you'd better not let me find out where you came from. Otherwise, I'll bring people to destroy your sect and feed you to the dogs." Hearing Zifeng's words, Ziling frowned and said worriedly, "Senior brother Zifeng, that brat is proficient in many martial arts secret manuals. Do you think he could be from the Immortal Path?" "The Immortal Path?" Hearing Ziling's words, Zifeng's expression tightened, and he immediately showed a worried expression. Ziling's words were not impossible. From the various martial arts that Mo Qingyun had displayed just now, it was very likely that he was from the Immortal Path. If Mo Qingyun was really from the Immortal Path, with the means and talent that he had displayed just now, he must have an extraordinary status in the Immortal Path. If that was the case, it would be a little troublesome for them to deal with Mo Qingyun. At this thought, Zifeng and the other two's expressions unconsciously became heavy. Now, as Ziling and the other two were thinking about how to deal with Mo Qingyun, in a secluded valley in Tombstone Mountain, a screen of light suddenly appeared, and a young figure walked out from it. This young figure was naturally Mo Qingyun, who had fought with Zi Feng and the other two and escaped unscathed. Because of Zi Feng and the other two, although I didn't get the Spring of Immortality, I did get the Undying Salamander Beast Corpse. It's an unexpected gain. Walking out of the teleportation gate, Mo Qingyun smiled faintly. He was very satisfied with this trip to Tombstone Mountain. From Mo Qingyun's point of view, it didn't matter if he didn't get the Undying Spring water this time. He could go back and get it later. In any case, he already knew the location of the Undying Spring water. Could it be that Zi Feng and the other two were still guarding the Undying Spring? Or perhaps Zi Feng's group of 3 took away all the Undying Spring water. In comparison, the corpse of the Undying Salamander Beast, which was comparable to the Transcendent Realm, was much more valuable. If he missed it this time, he might really miss it. More importantly, with Mo Qingyun's current strength, he was still unable to kill the Undying Salamander Beast. After thinking in this way, Mo Qingyun revealed a faint smile as he muttered to himself. If that's the case, I have to thank Zi Feng and the other two. Since I have the Undying Salamander Beast corpse, it's time to comprehend the profound of death. After feeling secretly delighted, Mo Qingyun prepared to refine the Undying Salamander Beast corpse to raise his profound of death. Then, Mo Qingyun's figure flashed and entered the Heixian Palace to refine the Undying Salamander Beast corpse. After entering the Heixian Palace, Missouri Qingyun let his clone take his place and lead the Eye Demons to continue hunting zombies and raising their strength. In the Heixian Palace, just now, Zi Feng's group of 3 seemed to have said that the Undying Salamander Beast blood can be used to create the Undying General Talisman. Recalling Zi Feng's words, Mo Qingyun's lips curled into a faint smile. He took out a jade bottle and stored the Undying Salamander Beast blood. It seems that I have to pay attention to talisman scrolls in the future and find a method to create the Undying General Talisman. Looking at the Undying Salamander Beast blood in his hand, Mo Qingyun's expression changed slightly as he thought to himself. After making up his mind, Mo Qingyun stopped thinking about it and put the Undying Salamander Beast's blood away. Then, Mo Qingyun began to refine the Undying Salamander Beast corpse to comprehend the profound of death within its body. As Mo Qingyun began to refine the Undying Salamander Beast corpse, he gradually comprehended and digested the profound of death within the Undying Salamander Beast corpse. At the same time, if one looked closely, they could clearly see that Mo Qingyun's body was aging and recovering bit by bit. In the following period of time, Mo Qingyun's physical body's condition changed back and forth like this. In the blink of an eye, a day had passed. Level 1 of the profound of death. I've finally found the way to the profound of death. At this moment, Mo Qingyun, who was in the midst of cultivation, opened his eyes with a joyful expression. After rejoicing, Mo Qingyun did not waste any more time and continued to refine the Undying Salamander Beast corpse. As Mo Qingyun continued to refine the Undying Salamander Beast corpse, his comprehension of the profound of death became deeper and deeper. As Mo Qingyun refined the Undying Salamander Beast corpse, Eye Demon's strength increased rapidly as she hunted zombies. In the blink of an eye, a month had passed. With Mo Qingyun's hard work, the Undying Salamander Beast corpse was finally completely refined. Level 4 of the profound of death. Seeing that the Undying Salamander Beast corpse had been refined, Mo Qingyun stopped cultivating and said with some regret, "It's a pity that I've finished refining the Undying Salamander Beast corpse. If I had 2 more Undying Salamander Beast corpses, my profound of death would have reached perfection." The Undying Salamander Beast is extremely rare. It's not that easy to find one. I'm a little greedy. When he thought of Zi Feng's expression, Mo Qingyun laughed at himself and thought, without the Undying Salamander Beast corpse to aid my cultivation, I can only enter my martial spirit world and use the cliff of immortality to comprehend the profound of death. I wonder how Eye Demon's progress in killing zombies have been during this month under the guidance of her incarnation. With this thought, Mo Qingyun smiled faintly and left the He Palace with anticipation. As soon as he left the He Palace, Missouri Qingyun saw a sea of eye demons killing zombies in a frenzy. After a simple glance at the eye devils, Mo Qingyun discovered that the surface of nearly 10,000 eye devils was already covered in a layer of bronze scales. The number of bronze-armored eye demons has reached 9,000, and Mo Sin's strength has reached Heaven's Star Border Stage 4. Killing zombies is indeed very fast. Mo Qingyun revealed a pleasantly surprised expression when he saw the strength of the eye devils before him. And he said to himself, "At this moment, if I encounter Zifeng's group of 3 again, then the person that's fleeing probably won't be me. Besides that, if I'm able to seize the formidable talismans in their possession, then it would probably be a good thing." At this moment, Mo Qingyun was looking forward to meeting Zifeng and the other 2 again. Incarnation, head to the undying spring. Chapter 575. Mo Qingyun had ordered his incarnation to bring Eye Demon to the undying spring. He had 2 plans in mind. Firstly, he wanted to get the undying spring water and refine it to improve his death ultimacy. Secondly, he wanted to see if he could meet Zifeng and the other 2 at the undying spring. If he met Zifeng again, he could not only get back at them, but also try to kill them. If he was able to kill Zifeng and the others, he would be able to obtain the talismans with extremely powerful power from them. Mo Qingyun was looking forward to getting the talisman from Zifeng and the other 2. After giving his instructions to his incarnation, Mo Qingyun did not hesitate and entered He Palace. After entering He Palace, Missouri Qingyun summoned his light gate martial spirit and entered his martial spirit world to cultivate. His death ultimacy had reached level 4. When he entered the cliff of immortality again, the death ultimacy in the cliff was obviously less harmful to him. Seeing this, Mo Qingyun walked deeper into the cliff of immortality to comprehend the death ultimacy at a deeper level. As Mo Qingyun got closer to the cliff of immortality, the death ultimacy around him gradually became stronger. At the same time, the aging of his body sped up. After discovering this, Mo Qingyun stopped and sat down cross-legged on the spot to comprehend the profundity of death that permeated the surroundings. When Mo Qingyun entered the cliff of immortality to comprehend the death ultimacy, his incarnation brought Eye Demon to the undying spring. Along the way, hundreds of thousands of Eye Demons killed and refined all the zombies that they passed by. Then, time passed by as the incarnation hurried along. In the blink of an eye, a month had passed. After a month's journey, the incarnation finally brought the Eye Demons to the undying spring again. We have arrived at the undying spring. After receiving the news from the incarnation, Mo Qingyun, who was cultivating in the cliff of immortality, opened his eyes with joy. Mo Qingyun didn't hesitate any longer. He walked out of the undying cliff and left the martial spirit world. After leaving the martial spirit world, Mo Qingyun didn't stop at all. In a flash, he left the He Palace. Coming out of the He Palace, Missouri Qingyun saw hundreds of thousands of Eye Demons gathered around the undying spring. The number of copper armor beholders has reached 20,000. Mo Sin's strength has reached the 5th heaven star border layer. Sensing the strength of the Eye Devil, the surprise on Mo Qingyun's face deepened. His heart was filled with anticipation. If this goes on, if Mo Sun and the other Eye Devils reach the heaven star border realm, I won't have to be afraid even if I meet an Abhijna expert. After calming himself down, Mo Qingyun started to guide the undying spring into the He Palace. After Mo Qingyun guided the undying spring into the He Palace, he sent into the Drought River, filling up the dry river channel. Around 2 hours later, Mo Qingyun stopped what he was doing and revealed a satisfied smile. He said, "With this undying spring water, my cultivation of the profundities of death should be able to reach perfection. My cultivation speed should be much faster. It's a pity that I didn't meet Zifeng and the other 2. Otherwise, With the current strength of the eye demons, it shouldn't be difficult to kill them. Mo Qingyun couldn't help but feel a sense of regret when he didn't meet Zifeng and the other two at the Undying Spring. Forget it. Let's not think about Zifeng and the other two. The most important thing now is to reach the complete realm of the Death Ultimacy. Mo Qingyun sorted out his emotions and returned to the Heixian Palace. After entering the Heixian Palace, Missouri Qingyun sent a message to his avatar, asking him to continue hunting zombies with eye demons to increase her strength. After that, Mo Qingyun and eye demons entered the frenzy of cultivation again. Time passed bit by bit as Mo Qingyun cultivated. Inside the Heixian Palace, with the help of the Undying Spring, Mo Qingyun refined the Undying Spring and entered the Undying Cliff to comprehend the Death Ultimacy. Under this two-pronged cultivation, Mo Qingyun's comprehension of the profundity of death also improved with each passing day. As the saying goes, cultivation knows no time. Unknowingly, more than 3 months had passed since Mo Qingyun obtained the Undying Spring and entered the Heixian Palace to cultivate. At this moment, Mo Qingyun, who was cultivating in the Heixian Palace, opened his eyes with ecstasy. The complete realm of the Death Ultimacy. Sensing that he had reached the complete realm of the Death Ultimacy, Mo Qingyun's face was filled with ecstasy and excitement. After leaving the Mao Fu sect for more than 5 months, his Death Ultimacy had finally reached the complete realm. He could finally condense the 9th Yuan Dan and break through to the 9th level of the Yuan Dan realm. As long as his cultivation broke through to the 9th level of the Yuan Dan realm, he wouldn't be restricted by the ultimacy when he wanted to increase his cultivation in the future. At that time, he would be able to break through to the Pill Palace realm in an extremely short period of time. Once his cultivation entered the Pill Palace realm, his strength would increase by at least 10 times. At that time, he would have the ability to protect himself. Of course, other than this, Mo Qingyun was also looking forward to it. He wanted to see if he could open the 5-color pagoda left behind by the 5 Direction Masters after breaking through to the Pill Palace realm. Since my Death Ultimacy has reached the complete realm, it's time for me to break through to the 9th level of the Yuan Dan realm. Mo Qingyun's face was filled with anticipation as he secretly planned in his heart. At this moment, Mo Qingyun's expression suddenly changed, and he said gravely, "Oh right, I've left the Mao Fu sect for more than 5 months. There's only half a month left before the talisman battle. It's time to return to the Mao Fu sect." After thinking about this, Mo Qingyun transmitted a message to his incarnation and asked him to bring I Devil back to the Mao Fu sect. After instructing everything, Mo Qingyun no longer hesitated and immediately began to break through to the 9th level of the Yuan Dan realm. Immediately after, Mo Qingyun merged the Death Ultimacy into the Yuan energy in his Dantian, forming a wave of Yuan energy of death. Following the formation of the Yuan energy of death, Mo Qingyun began to compress it, allowing it to condense into the Yuan Dan in his Dantian. After experiencing the previous 8 times of condensing the Yuan Dan, Mo Qingyun was now able to condense the Yuan Dan of death. The entire process could be said to be a walk in the park for him. After that, as Mo Qingyun continued to condense the Yuan energy of death, a black Yuan Dan gradually formed in his Dantian. After discovering this, Mo Qingyun's face lit up with joy as he increased the intensity of condensing the Yuan Dan of death. Complete. Mo Qingyun shouted as he completed the final condensation of the Yuan Dan of death. He successfully condensed the 9th Yuan Dan of death. Following the successful condensation of the 9th Yuan Dan of death, Mo Qingyun's cultivation had successfully entered the 9th level of the Yuan Dan realm. After successfully breaking through to the 9th level of the Yuan Dan realm, Mo Qingyun didn't waste any time and immediately began to cultivate to stabilize his realm. Have we reached the periphery of Tombstone Mountain? Chapter 576. I can't let the eye demons show themselves now that I've arrived at the outer perimeter of Gravestone Mountain. Mo Qingyun thought for a moment and stopped hesitating. He immediately sent the eye demons into Xian Palace. In Mo Qingyun's opinion, the appearance of hundreds of thousands of eye demons with great fanfare was too conspicuous. It would be terrible if the various sects of the path of immortality thought they were demon beasts from another continent and invaded. Mo Qingyun didn't want to see the eye demons killed by the experts of the path of immortality. Therefore, it was better to keep a low profile for now. The outer perimeter of Gravestone Mountain isn't far from the Malfu sect. There's no need to use my incarnation to take my place. Mo Qingyun thought for a moment and sent his incarnation back into Xian Palace. He decided to return to the Malfu sect by himself. With his flying speed, it would only take half a day to reach the Malfu sect from the outer perimeter of Gravestone Mountain. There was no need for his incarnation to take his place. Mo Qingyun soared into the sky and quickly returned to the Mao Talisman sect. Several hours later, Mo Qingyun returned to the Malfu sect. Once Mo Qingyun returned to the Thatched Talisman sect, he immediately rushed toward Elder Tan's residence. Mo Qingyun soon arrived at Elder Tan's small courtyard. "You stinking brats are all so stupid. My good disciple Qingyun is more intelligent than others." Mo Qingyun had just arrived at Elder Tan's small courtyard when he heard Elder Tan's angry words. Mo Qingyun saw Zhang Jie and the others standing in a row with bitter expressions as they accepted Elder Tan's reprimand. Zhang Jie and the others were pleasantly surprised when they saw Mo Qingyun return. They hurriedly pointed at the entrance of the small courtyard and said to Elder Tan, "Elder Tan, junior brother Mo is back." "Oof. Don't try to fool me, you stinking brats. Do you think I won't teach you a lesson just because Qingyun is back?" Hearing the words of Zhang Jie and the others, Elder Tan blew his beard and fiercely glared at them. Hearing Elder Tan's words, the expressions of Zhang Jie and the others immediately became depressed once again. "Master, what are you?" Hearing Elder Tan's words, Mo Qingyun shook his head and smiled wryly, quickly approaching Elder Tan and the others. When he heard Mo Qingyun's words, Elder Tan was pleasantly surprised. He hurriedly turned his head to look at Mo Qingyun and said in delight, "Good disciple, you've really returned. You've been gone for close to half a year. Master missed you to death." As he spoke, Elder Tan's pitch-black veteran hands continued to stroke Mo Qingyun's body. Seeing Elder Tan's action, Mo Qingyun was suddenly speechless, cold sweat dripping down his forehead. If he didn't know that Elder Tan was showing concern for him, he might have mistakenly thought that Elder Tan had some bad fetishes. Hearing Elder Tan's words, Mo Qingyun smiled faintly and said, "Ha! In the process of going out to train this time, I just happened to encounter a breakthrough in my cultivation. Therefore, I was delayed for a few days." "Breakthrough in your cultivation?" Hearing this, Elder Tan's expression immediately became joyful. He immediately released his spiritual strength and sensed Mo Qingyun's cultivation. Master's cultivation aura. At this moment, when Elder Tan released his spiritual strength, Mo Qingyun sensed a strong and obscure aura from Elder Tan's body. The strength of this aura was even stronger than Mo Qingyun's aura in his previous life. This discovery really shocked Mo Qingyun quite a bit. However, seeing that Elder Tan didn't say much, Mo Qingyun didn't ask anymore. From Mo Qingyun's point of view, if Elder Tan was really hiding his true cultivation, he should have his own plans. Even so, from this moment onwards, Elder Tan had become a mysterious figure in Mo Qingyun's heart. Fifth seal initial stage. While Mo Qingyun was astonished, Elder Tan's eyebrows slightly furrowed as he asked in bewilderment, "Good disciple, your cultivation is still at the fifth seal initial stage. There doesn't seem to be any changes." When he heard Elder Tan's words, Mo Qingyun knew that Elder Tan had misunderstood his meaning and thought that his spiritual strength had made a breakthrough. Immediately, Mo Qingyun revealed a faint smile as he explained, "Master, Disciples' cultivation breakthrough this time was not due to a breakthrough in the spiritual strength cultivation, but rather an increase in disciples' yuan power cultivation. I see. When he heard Mo Qingyun's explanation, Elder Tan revealed a look of understanding as he nodded his head and smiled. This old man has forgotten that you've cultivated both the immortal and mortal paths. After praising Mo Qingyun, Elder Tan's expression turned solemn as he turned his head toward Zhang Jie and the rest and solemnly said, "Did you kids hear that? Qingyun has cultivated both the immortal and mortal paths, yet his strength still soared. However, you kids can't even draw a symbol soldier. This really disappoints this old man. Master, everyone's talent is limited. You can't compare us to junior brother Mo." When they heard Elder Tan's words, Zhang Jie and the rest felt a wave of depression as they bitterly smiled at Elder Tan. Master? When he heard how Zhang Jie and the rest addressed Elder Tan, Mo Qingyun's expression froze. He was somewhat surprised that Elder Tan had accepted Zhang Jie and the rest as disciples. When he saw Mo Qingyun's expression, Elder Tan revealed an awkward expression as he smiled embarrassedly and said, "After you left the Mao Fu sect, Master was bored and saw that their talent was all right, so I decided to guide them." When they heard Elder Tan's words, Zhang Jie and the rest immediately revealed an aggrieved expression. It seemed that they were most likely forced. "What? Are you unhappy to have me as your master?" When he saw Zhang Jie and the rest's expressions, Elder Tan revealed a displeased expression as he spoke coldly to them. No, it's not that. We've cultivated several lifetimes of fortune to have Elder Tan as our master." When they heard Elder Tan's words, Zhang Jie and the rest said a bunch of flattering words, but their expressions betrayed them. When he saw Zhang Jie and the rest's expressions, Mo Qingyun helplessly shook his head. He turned to Elder Tan and asked, "Master, do you know the Corpse Talisman sect? Also, how strong is the Corpse Talisman sect?" When Mo Qingyun recalled how Shijia had pursued him when he left the Mao Fu sect, he raised his vigilance towards the Corpse Talisman sect. The Corpse Talisman sect had actually infiltrated Shitong and the rest into the Mao Fu sect and supported them to become the young sect master of the Mao Fu sect. From this, it could be seen that the Corpse Talisman sect wasn't simple. He had to be careful. Corpse Talisman sect? Elder Tan's expression immediately changed when he heard Mo Qingyun suddenly mention the Corpse Talisman sect. He revealed an astonished expression as he said, "Qingyun, why are you suddenly asking about the Corpse Talisman sect? Could it be that those fellows from the Corpse Talisman sect tried to assassinate you? When I left the Mao Fu sect, a Corpse Talisman master with 6 seals from the Corpse Talisman sect pursued me." Mo Qingyun nodded and responded to Elder Tan. He said in a deep voice, "Fortunately, when the 6 seals talisman master was pursuing me, he alarmed a copper-armored zombie on Tombstone Mountain. Later on, he was entangled with the copper-armored zombie, and I was able to luckily escape." At this moment, Mo Qingyun recounted his encounter to Elder Tan with half-truths and half-lies. However, he didn't tell the truth. After all, he had killed Xiao Li and the other disciple, so he still needed to avoid it. Chapter 577. Damn the Corpse Talisman Sect. After hearing Mo Qingyun's explanation, Elder Tan was enraged and said coldly, "Do they think that I don't dare to touch the Corpse Talisman Sect's 7 sons of Corpsine? Corpsine's 7 sons?" When Mo Qingyun heard this, a puzzled expression appeared on his face. He looked at Zhang Jie and the others with some confusion. Seeing Mo Qingyun looking at them, Zhang Jie sorted out his emotions and replied, "Junior brother Mo, the Corpsine's 7 sons of Corpsine are the same as our 10th young sect master. They're all candidates for the future sect master." "Oh, I see." Hearing Zhang Jie's words, Mo Qingyun nodded, a feeling of understanding rising in his heart. "No, I have to report this to the sect master." After a short moment of silence, Elder Tan was still furious and decided to tell Fong Peng about the attack on Mo Qingyun. "Master, wait a minute." Seeing Elder Tan's action, Mo Qingyun's expression changed slightly, and he quickly stopped him. What's wrong? When Elder Tan heard Emo Qingyun call out to him, he revealed a puzzled expression and asked Emo Qingyun in confusion. Seeing the puzzled Elder Tan, Emo Qingyun's expression turned serious, and he said in a deep voice, I suspect that the Corpse Talisman sect has spies in the Thatch Talisman sect. If you report to the sect master rashly and the news is leaked, it will alert the Corpse Talisman sect. Spies? Hearing Emo Qingyun's words, Elder Tan was shocked and asked curiously, What do you mean? What should we do next? We don't have to do anything. Let's just pretend that nothing happened and quietly observe the Corpse Talisman sect's actions. Upon hearing Elder Tan's words, Emo Qingyun smiled mysteriously and gave him some instructions. Now, the number of demons who had broken through to the Heaven Star Border realm had reached more than 100,000. Among them, Emo, Sun, and the other demon strength had reached the advanced Heaven Star Border realm. With the overall strength of demons, even if they encountered a transcendent realm expert, they would still be able to fight. Therefore, Emo Qingyun wouldn't put the Corpse Talisman sect, which was on par with the Thatch Talisman sect, in his eyes. In Emo Qingyun's opinion, if the Corpse Talisman sect was tactful, it would be fine. Otherwise, he wouldn't mind turning them into fertilizer for demons cultivation. Elder Tan and the others didn't know what was on Mo's mind. When they heard Mo's words, their expressions became even more puzzled. In their opinion, if they did as Emo Qingyun said and the Corpse Talisman sect suddenly attacked, the Mao Talisman sect would be in a passive position. Me lord, you don't have to worry, I have a plan. I have my mind, I have a master. To it, When they heard Emo Qingyun's words, Elder Tan and the others' expressions changed. Intense surprise and curiosity appeared on their faces. What exactly did Emo Qingyun rely on to be so confident in dealing with the Corpse Talisman sect? However, when they saw that Emo Qingyun didn't say anything, they didn't ask. Master, have you seen a talisman that can summon a Chaos Divine General and merge with it? After asking Elder Tan about the Corpse Talisman sect, Emo Qingyun revealed a curious expression. He then asked Elder Tan about Zifeng and the others' talismans. Elder Tan was shocked when he heard Emo Qingyun's words. His expression became serious as he said, Qingyun, the talisman you mentioned just now should be the Taishang 3 Pure God Summoning Talisman. This kind of talisman is shockingly powerful. Normally, only the top 10 sects in the Immortal Path have it. What did you see this talisman? Taishang 3 Pure God Summoning Talisman. When he heard Elder Tan's explanation, Emo Qingyun's expression immediately changed, and he revealed an excited expression. He said, I was fortunate enough to see 3 youths use this talisman during my training on Mubei Mountain, so I became curious about this talisman. If I'm not mistaken, those 3 youths should be from one of the top 10 sects in the Immortal Path. When he heard Emo Qingyun's answer, Elder Tan nodded in understanding and said, Under normal circumstances, the Taishang 3 Pure God Summoning Talisman is divided into the True Body Talisman and the False Body Talisman. According to what you said just now, the talismans in the hands of the 3 youths should be the Taishang 3 Pure God Summoning Talisman. Next, Elder Tan gave Emo Qingyun a detailed explanation about the Taishang 3 Pure God Summoning Talisman. After hearing Elder Tan's story, the expression on Emo Qingyun's face immediately became incomparably excited. He suddenly discovered that the puppet talisman he had obtained from He's Cosmos bag seemed to be the Taishang 3 Pure God Summoning Talisman. The Taishang 3 Pure God Summoning Talisman. When he thought of the might of the Taishang 3 Pure God Summoning Talisman, Emo Qingyun's mood immediately became extremely excited. He really wanted to see just how powerful the Taishang 3 Pure God Summoning Talisman would be. Master, I've suddenly comprehended something and plan to go into seclusion for a few days. After thinking like this, Emo Qingyun no longer hesitated. He bid farewell to Elder Tan and prepared to return to his room to check on the puppet talisman. Comprehended something? When he heard Emo Qingyun's words, Elder Tan immediately revealed a gratified smile. He waved his hand at Mo Qingyun and said, "If that's the case, then don't hesitate any longer. Quickly go into seclusion and cultivate. You must not miss this opportunity." "Thank you, Master." Mo Qingyun bowed to Elder Tan and returned to his room to check on the puppet talisman. "Qingyun, there's still half a month before the talisman battle. Make good use of the time during your seclusion this time." At this moment, when Mo Qingyun was returning to his room, Elder Tan's voice sounded out from behind him. "Yes." When he heard this, Mo Qingyun turned his head and nodded towards Elder Tan. His face revealed a serious expression as he said in a deep voice, "Don't worry, Master. I'll definitely participate in this year's talisman battle." After he spoke, Mo Qingyun pushed open the door and walked in. When they heard Mo Qingyun say that he had comprehended something, Zhang Jie and the others revealed expressions of envy, and a trace of depression was mixed within the envy. They were all humans, but why was the difference so great? Mo Qingyun was able to suddenly comprehend something in the middle of a conversation. This was really too shocking. After watching Mo Qingyun enter the room, Elder Tan's expression turned serious. He turned his head and stared at Zhang Jie and the others as he said, "Did the few of you see that? If you don't work hard in your cultivation in the future, be careful that this old man will ruthlessly take care of you." When they heard Elder Tan's words, the bodies of Zhang Jie and the others trembled, and their expressions became even more depressed. Cultivating together with Mo Qingyun was really too sad. Of course, although they were somewhat depressed in their hearts, they were still very grateful to Mo Qingyun. Although Elder Tan was usually a little serious, being able to receive Elder Tan's guidance and cultivation was also a rare opportunity. Chapter 578. After Mo Qingyun returned to his room, he couldn't wait to take out the puppet talisman from his Chinquan bag. After taking the puppet talisman out of his Chinquan bag, Mo Qingyun carefully looked at it in accordance with Elder Tan's description. After a careful observation, Mo Qingyun found that the puppet talisman was as white as jade, and every part of its body was made of lotus roots. In addition, the puppet talisman also had 3 heads and 6 arms and a pair of flaming flywheels under its feet. It gave off a heroic feeling. If I'm not wrong, this puppet talisman should be the divine body, inviting talisman of the Taishang 3 pure bodies. After carefully looking at the puppet talisman, Mo Qingyun was certain that it was the divine body, inviting talisman of the Taishang 3 pure bodies. After discovering this, Mo Qingyun's expression became excited, and his face revealed a look of ecstasy. With the divine body, inviting talisman of the Taishang 3 pure bodies, it would be a powerful trump card when he fought with others in the future. I wonder which divine body, inviting talisman of the untainted times, this divine body, inviting talisman of the untainted times. Looking at the puppet talisman in his hand, Mo Qingyun was puzzled. He was very curious about the origin of the divine body, inviting talisman of the Taishang 3 pure bodies. At the same time, Mo Qingyun was also puzzled. He frowned and said, "Since the divine body, inviting talisman of the Taishang 3 pure bodies is so powerful, why didn't Yi activate it when I killed him?" After a short period of confusion, Mo Qingyun stopped thinking about it and tried to activate the divine body, inviting talisman of the Taishang 3 pure bodies. However, to Mo Qingyun's surprise, no matter how he activated it, the divine body, inviting talisman of the Taishang 3 pure bodies didn't move at all. Seeing this, Mo Qingyun showed a look of understanding. He understood why Yi didn't activate the divine body, inviting talisman of the Taishang 3 pure bodies when he was killed. It turned out that it wasn't that Yi didn't want to activate the talisman, but that he couldn't. It seems that the method of activating the Taishang 3 pure one's god summoning talisman is somewhat different from ordinary talismans. At this moment, Mo Qingyun came to a realization. He thought to himself, if that's the case, I have to find a way to enter one of the 10 great sects if I want to know how to activate the prime 3 purities god invocation talisman. After thinking about this, Mo Qingyun put away the puppet talisman and stopped trying to activate it. As for asking Elder Tan, Mo Qingyun directly gave up. Firstly, the deity summoning talisman of the Taishang Three Pure Ones was too eye-catching. If news of it were to leak out, it might cause a great deal of trouble. Secondly, in Mo Qingyun's opinion, Elder Tan might not know how to activate the Taishang Three Pure True Body God inviting talisman. After Mo Qingyun sorted out his thoughts, he began to cultivate and improve his cultivation. Now that the 9 great Yuan Dan had been successfully condensed, he could increase his cultivation without the restriction of the ultimacy. Then, Mo Qingyun took out a large amount of elemental holy stones and piled them around his body, forming a small mountain of elemental holy stones. After taking out a large amount of elemental holy stones, Mo Qingyun released the suppression of the 5 elements spiritual body and began to absorb the elemental energy. Under Mo Qingyun's crazy absorption, the small mountain of elemental holy stones around him turned into a pile of powder under the constant absorption of elemental energy. As Mo Qingyun crazily refined the elemental holy stones, the aura on his body rose rapidly. In the blink of an eye, for months had passed in the cultivation room. Half-stepped to the Pill Palace. At this moment, Mo Qingyun, who was in the midst of cultivation, stopped refining the elemental holy stones. He revealed a look of regret and said, "It's a pity that I didn't directly enter the Pill Palace realm." Although he felt a little regret, Mo Qingyun didn't think too much about it. After all, he had the 9 great Yuan Dan. The amount of energy he needed to break through the Pill Palace wasn't something an ordinary person could compare with. It's good that I didn't directly break through to the Pill Palace realm. I can make more preparations so that when I break through to the Pill Palace realm, I won't have enough elemental energy. After thinking about it this way, Mo Qingyun's heart was relieved. A faint smile appeared on his face, and he said, "Although my cultivation hasn't entered the Pill Palace realm, with my current strength, I shouldn't be afraid of those below the middle level of the Pill Palace. Today is the day of the talisman battle. It's time to head to the battlefield." Mo Qingyun calculated the time in his heart. His figure moved, and he left the Heixian Palace. After exiting the Heixian Palace, Missouri Qingyun opened the door and walked into the small courtyard. As soon as he walked out of the house, Mo Qingyun saw Elder Tan and a few others anxiously waiting outside his house. "Qingyun, you're finally done with your cultivation." Seeing Mo Qingyun walk out of the house, Elder Tan revealed a surprised smile and joked to Mo Qingyun, "If you didn't come out, Master would have broken down the door and dragged you out." "Hee hee, looks like I came out just in time." Mo Qingyun smiled faintly and replied to Elder Tan. He walked forward and said, "Let's go to the talisman battlefield." Seeing Mo Qingyun walk forward, Elder Tan and the others didn't say anything and immediately followed behind Mo Qingyun. In next to no time, Mo Qingyun's group of 6 arrived at the talisman battlefield. Perhaps it was because the rewards of the talisman battlefield were much better than the minor talisman battlefield, so the number of disciples participating in the talisman battlefield was many times more than the minor talisman battlefield. At this moment, when Mo Qingyun walked into the talisman battlefield and swept his gaze over it, the entire talisman battlefield was practically filled with people. "Qingyun, I'm going to the elder seating area first. All of you have to perform well in the talisman battlefield." After entering the talisman battlefield, Elder Tan instructed Mo Qingyun and the others before walking towards the elder seating area. When they heard Elder Tan, Mo Qingyun and the others nodded and replied before walking towards the talisman battlefield. In next to no time, Mo Qingyun's group of 5 passed through the crowd and arrived at the registration area of the talisman battlefield before registering their information. At this moment, when Mo Qingyun had just finished registering his information, a wave of commotion arose from the battlefield. "Look, that's Shi Huangtian, the number 1 young sect master of our Mao Talisman sect. It's said that Shi Huangtian's cultivation broke through to the 6th seal Talisman Master realm 3 months ago. Shi Huangtian's natural talent is truly monstrous. If nothing unexpected happens, the position of the next sect master of the Mao Talisman sect will definitely be his. That might not necessarily be the case. Recently, Mo Qingyun appeared in the Mao Talisman sect. It's said that his natural talent isn't inferior to Shi Huangtian's. At this moment, amidst the whispers of the crowd, a young man wearing a golden crown walked into the battlefield with a cold and indifferent expression. As the young man walked into the battlefield, the surrounding disciples revealed expressions of reverence and opened up a path for him. The number one young sect master, Shi Huangtian. When he saw Shi Huangtian appear, Mo Qingyun revealed an expression of curiosity. He raised his head to size Shi Huangtian up and said to himself, "Surnamed Shi? Could it be that he's related to Shi Tong? If that's the case, then could it be that?" At this moment, Mo Qingyun was shocked by his own guess, and his expression changed slightly when he looked at Shi Huangtian. Chapter 579. As Mo Qingyun stared at Shi Huangtian, he slowly approached Mo Qingyun while being escorted by the crowd. "Mo Qingyun, you're actually still alive." A gloomy voice sounded from behind Shi Huangtian when he arrived by Mo Qingyun's side. After that, Mo Qingyun saw Shi Tong standing behind Shi Huangtian with a gloomy expression as he stared at Mo Qingyun with a ghastly cold gaze. Mo Qingyun immediately revealed a meaningful smile when he saw Shi Tong standing behind Shi Huangtian. He was even more certain of his guess. Since Shi Tong was with Shi Huangtian, and it seemed like Shi Huangtian was the leader, Shi Tong's relationship with Shi Huangtian was definitely not simple. If that was the case, the relationship between Shi Tong and Shi Huangtian wasn't simple. They should be spies planted by the Corpse Talisman sect and the Mao Talisman sect. "Don't worry, I won't die even if all of you die." Mo Qingyun glanced at Shi Tong and Shi Huangtian when he heard Shi Tong's words. The meaning behind his words was obvious. Shi Huangtian revealed an arrogant expression when he saw Mo Qingyun's attitude. He stared coldly at Mo Qingyun and said, "Kid, you're the 10th young sect master? Let me give you a piece of advice. You better restrain yourself before me. That little bit of ability of yours isn't enough to deal with me." "Is that so?" "I don't think so." Mo Qingyun smiled indifferently when he heard Shi Huangtian's words. He spoke with disdain. "Let me give you a piece of advice as well. You better keep a low profile before you become the sect master of the Thatch Talisman sect. Otherwise, the power behind you won't be able to save you if you fail miserably." Swoosh! Shi Huangtian and Shi Tong's eyes turned cold when they heard Mo Qingyun. Killing intent surged in their eyes as they looked at Mo Qingyun. "It seems like my guess is correct." Mo Qingyun immediately revealed a faint smile when he saw Shi Huangtian and Shi Tao's reactions. His guess had finally been confirmed. From the looks of it, Shi Tao and Shi Huangtian were most likely spies that the Corpse Talisman sect had planted in the Mao Talisman sect. "Brat, your luck is pretty good. You actually managed to escape the pursuit of the Shi clan elder." Shi Huangtian revealed a cold expression when he saw that Mo Qingyun had guessed their identities, and he said, "However, sometimes, the more you know, the faster you die. It's impossible for you to be so lucky every single time." "Escape the pursuit of the Shi clan elder?" Mo Qingyun smiled faintly. His eyes narrowed as he looked at Shi Huangtian and Jian Wushuang. He smiled faintly. "Sometimes, if you think too highly of yourself, you'll die very quickly. Moreover, it's easier for joy to turn into sorrow." When he heard Mo Qingyun, Shi Huangtian flicked his sleeve, turned around, and walked forward. He spoke coldly to Mo Qingyun and said, "Kid, be careful of any mishaps during the upcoming talisman battles. Don't worry. Those who wanted me to meet with mishaps are already dead." Mo Qingyun smiled faintly. He didn't take Shi Huangtian's words to heart at all. He replied without backing down, "Of course, if you don't believe me, you can come and try." When he heard Mo Qingyun's provocation, Shi Huangtian's gaze immediately turned cold. Killing intent surged in his eyes as he looked at Mo Qingyun. However, Shi Huangtian didn't say much to Mo Qingyun. He turned around and led Shi Tao and the others to register their information. After Shi Huangtian left, Mo Qingyun's surroundings became restless. The disciples began to point at Mo Qingyun. The 10th young sect master is so arrogant. He actually dared to challenge the first young sect master, Shi Huangtian. You're so surprised because you don't understand the 10th young sect master. Not long ago, he took care of 2 young sect masters in succession. What? The 10th young sect master is so powerful? It seems like he does have the qualifications to challenge the first young sect master. After hearing what you said, I'm very curious about the battle between the 10th young sect master and the first young sect master. At this moment, the surrounding disciples looked at Mo Qingyun with a strong sense of awe and veneration in their eyes. Among the 9 young sect masters of the Thatched Talisman sect, there wasn't a single person who could compete with Shi Huangtian. Junior brother Mo, Shi Huangtian is very powerful. It can be said that no one among the 9 young sect masters can compete with him. When Shi Huangtian was far away, a worried expression appeared on Zhang Ling's face. He reminded Mo Qingyun, now that you've offended him, you have to be careful of him. He's much more ruthless than that Shirtong. Senior brother Zhang, you don't have to worry. In my eyes, he's no different from Shirtong. Mo Qingyun smiled at Zhang Ling's worry. His gaze turned cold as he said, it's fine if he doesn't provoke me. However, if he provokes me, I don't mind teaching him a lesson. I'll also uproot the faction behind him while I'm at it. Uproot the faction behind him? Zhang Ling's expression immediately changed when he heard Mo Qingyun's words. The way he looked at Mo Qingyun changed. At this moment, Mo Qingyun seemed to have become mysterious in the eyes of Zhang Ling and the others. While Zhang Ling and the others were still in shock, a dark-skinned, robust young man walked over with a flustered young man. Is this junior brother, Mo Qingyun? The dark-skinned, sturdy young man walked to Mo Qingyun's side, a warm smile on his face as he beckoned to Mo Qingyun. What's the matter? Mo Qingyun looked at the dark-skinned, robust young man indifferently when he heard his words. His tone was cold. This was because Mo Qingyun saw a figure that he detested beside the dark-skinned young man. It was Dan Qing. In Mo Qingyun's opinion, the dark-skinned young man who had come with Dan Qing should be a helper that Dan Qing had invited. If that was the case, there was no need for him to be polite to the dark-skinned young man. After all, they were going to have a falling out soon. Second young sect master. When Mo Qingyun looked at the dark-skinned young man coldly, Zhang Ling and the others revealed respectful expressions. Second young sect master. When Mo Qingyun heard the words of Zhang Ling and the others, the way he looked at the dark-skinned young man changed slightly. He hadn't expected the dark-skinned young man to be the second young sect master of the Maofu sect. If that was the case, Luo Yinyang could be considered to have seen the top 3 young sect masters of the Maofu sect. Mo Qing was slightly taken aback when he saw Mo Qingyun's attitude. He was a little surprised by Mo Qingyun's attitude. However, when he thought of the conflict between Mo Qingyun and Dan Qing, he understood what was going on. He smiled faintly and said, Junior brother Mo, you have misunderstood. I'm not here to make enemies with you. I am here to apologize to you on behalf of junior brother Dan Qing. Apologize? When Mo Qingyun heard Mo Qing's words, his expression changed again. He was a little surprised by Mo Qing's words. Mo, junior brother Mo, I was too arrogant previously. I hope you can forgive me for offending you. At that moment, Dan Qing walked up to Mo Qingyun in a panic and apologized. Chapter 580. Since you asked senior brother Mo to mediate, I will give you a chance. Mo Qingyun looked at Dan Qing impatiently. He waved his hand and said, keep a distance from Shi Tong in the future and keep a low profile in the Maofu sect. I will not pursue the matter from before. Dan Qing's expression relaxed when he heard Mo Qingyun's words. He quickly thanked Mo Qingyun. Thank you, junior brother Mo. Thank you for your magnanimity." While Dan Qing was expressing his gratitude to Mo Qing Yun, Mo Qing frowned and asked, "Junior brother Mo, did you meet junior brother Xiao Li and junior brother Xiao after you left the Maofu sect?" "Xiao Li?" Mo Qing Yun was stunned. He was surprised that Mo Qing would mention Xiao Li and junior brother Xiao. He then said coldly, "Xiao Li and junior brother Xiao will no longer exist in this world." Hiss! Mo Qing and Dan Qing were shocked when they heard Mo Qing Yun's words. They couldn't help but gasp. At this moment, the meaning of Mo Qing Yun's words couldn't be any more obvious. He was saying that he had already killed Xiao Li and the other man. Dan Qing looked at Mo Qing Yun with even more respect when he heard that Xiao Li and junior brother Xiao had been killed. Xiao Li and junior brother Xiao were the 5th and 7th young sect masters of the Maofu sect. Their status in the Maofu sect was much higher than Dan Qing's. Even so, Mo Qing Yun did not hesitate to kill them when dealing with them. How dangerous! Fortunately, senior brother Mo Qing mediated. Dan Qing looked at Mo Qing with even more gratitude when he thought about how Xiao Li and junior brother Xiao had been killed. In his opinion, if Mo Qing hadn't mediated between him and Mo Qing Yun, Dan Qing would have been killed. If Mo Qing Yun wanted to deal with him in the future, he would probably end up like Xiao Li and junior brother Xiao. While Mo Qing Yun and Mo Qing were shocked, Mo Qing Yun had a puzzled expression. He looked at Mo Qing and asked, "Senior Mo, how did you know that Xiao Li and Mo Qing wanted to deal with me?" "To tell you the truth, it's like this. That day, Shirtong invited me and Xiao Li to his residence. Subsequently, Mo Qing Yun recounted the events of that day in detail to Mo Qing Yun. In the end, he laughed embarrassedly and said, 'Fortunately, I did not go with Xiao Li and the other two to chase after junior brother Mo. Otherwise, I am afraid that I would not be standing here now.' Hee hee. I also have to thank senior brother Mo for showing mercy." With regards to Mo Qing Yun's joke, Mo Qing Yun smiled faintly and joked with him. After listening to Mo Qing Yun's explanation, Mo Qing Yun had a better impression of him. From this, it could be seen that Mo Qing was a straightforward and upright person. Otherwise, he would definitely not have told Mo Qing Yun that Shirtong had invited him to deal with Mo Qing Yun. The registration for the talisman battle is now over. Everyone, please be quiet. At this moment, while Mo Qing Yun and the rest were conversing, a solemn voice sounded out from the elders' seating area. Following these words, Mo Qing Yun saw an elder slowly walk forward and raise his hand to take away the list of participating disciples. After receiving the list of participating disciples, the elder briefly swept his gaze over it before speaking in a deep voice. The method of the Talisman Grand Battle is the same as the Minor Talisman Grand Battle. The elimination battles, naming battles, and ranking battles will be carried out in succession. Of course, the ranking battles of the Talisman Grand Battle will determine the top 10. However, at this point, the elder paused and his expression turned serious. He continued, "Compared to the past, this year's Talisman Battle is a little different. Other than the sect's rewards, the top 3 disciples will also obtain the qualifications to participate in the 10,000 Talisman Immortal Gathering." At this moment, following the elder's words, the Talisman battlefield was in an uproar. What? The top 3 disciples in this year's Talisman Battle will actually obtain the qualifications to participate in the 10,000 Talisman Immortal Gathering. The 10,000 Talisman Immortal Path is a good opportunity to make a great leap. Once one stands out in the 10,000 Talisman Immortal Gathering, one will be able to enter the top 10 sects in the Immortal Road. It's not an easy task to obtain the top 1,000 rankings in the 10,000 Talisman Immortal Gathering. Participating in the 10,000 Talisman Immortal Gathering is really too far away for me. I only want to see who the top 3 of this year's Talisman Battle will be. All the disciples in the Talisman battlefield revealed excited expressions as they spoke excitedly. Everyone quiet down. Looking at the disciples who were whispering to each other, the elder spread his hands and said, "I will now announce the names of the disciples in each battle zone. The disciples whose names I call will enter the first battle zone, following which the names of the disciples were read out by the elder one by one. What surprised Mo Qingyun was that he did not expect that he would still be in the first battle zone in this year's talisman battle. As for Zhang Jie and the rest, they were all assigned to the second battle zone, and no one was in the same battle zone as him. Seeing that Zhang Jie and the rest were assigned to the second battle zone, Shi Tong, who was also assigned to the second battle zone, revealed a sinister smile on his face. In his opinion, since Zhang Jie and the rest were assigned to the same battle zone as him, he would be able to properly deal with Zhang Jie and the rest. Following which, Shi Tong revealed a proud smile and said to Mo Qingyun, Mo Qingyun, Zhang Jie and the rest are in the same battle zone as me. After receiving them, you will see how I deal with them. Shi Tong, if you dare to touch senior brother Zhang and the rest, I will definitely make you regret being born into this world. Hearing Shi Tong's words, Mo Qingyun's expression turned cold, and he said coldly to Shi Tong, Mo Qingyun, you should worry about yourself first. At this moment, just as Mo Qingyun finished speaking, a proud voice sounded from behind him. Hearing this, Mo Qingyun turned his head and looked back, only to see a young man in blue robes sizing him up with his arms crossed. After sizing up Mo Qingyun, the young man in blue robes revealed a disdainful expression and curled his lips. I never thought that after coming out of seclusion for half a year, I would come across such a good thing. Teaching a 5th seal initial stage cultivator a lesson will earn me a reward of 100 million origin spirit stones. In my opinion, this may not be a good thing for you. Hearing the other party's words, Mo Qingyun's gaze turned cold, and he said coldly, before I change my mind, you better give up on the idea of 100 million origin spirit stones. Otherwise, I don't mind making you go into seclusion forever. Of course, the place where you will go into seclusion in the future will be below. When Mo Qingyun said this, he tapped the ground lightly with his foot. This was a signal to the other party that he was going to send him underground. Incomparably arrogant indeed, just as senior brother Huang Tian said. When he heard Ran Hong's words, the blue-robed young man immediately smiled and said nonchalantly, I, Ran Hong, have never failed to obtain anything that I, Ran Hong, have set my eyes on. Not only will I take the 100 million yuan spirit stones, I will also teach you a lesson and let you know that it's useless to talk big. Since you want to die, I will fulfill your wish. Chapter 581. Junior Mo, Junior Zhang, and the rest are in the second battle zone. You don't have to worry. At that moment, when Mo Qingyun and Ran Hong were confronting each other, Mo Qing's words came from the second battle zone. Hearing this, Mo Qingyun turned his head to look at Mo Qingyun. Seeing that Mo Qingyun was looking at him, Mo Qing continued, previously, on my account, you didn't care about Shanqing's offense. Now, I will protect Zhang Jie and the rest on your behalf. Take it as returning the favor. Thank you, Senior Mo. Hearing Mo Qing's words, Mo Qingyun felt relieved. He nodded his head at Mo Qing gratefully. After comforting Mo Qingyun, Mo Qing's expression turned cold. He said to Shi Tong, Junior Shi Tong, I owe Junior Mo a favor and promised him to protect Zhang Jie and the rest. I hope that you will give me face and leave with your men. Seeing Mo Qing's attitude, Shi Tong's face immediately darkened. His expression was filled with anger. Originally, in his opinion, this was an excellent opportunity to take care of Zhang Jie and the others. He did not expect that Mo Qing would interfere and ruin his plan instantly. Then, Shi Tong's expression turned gloomy. He glared at Mo Qing and said coldly, Mo Qing, what do you mean by this? Don't tell me that you want to go against Senior Huang Tian. Shi Tong knew clearly that if Mo Qing insisted on interfering, it would be impossible for him to deal with Zhang Jie and the rest. I don't want to go against him. I am just returning a favor. Mo Qing did not mind Shi Tong's threatening words. He smiled and said, after I return Junior Mo's favor, I will not interfere if you want to deal with Zhang Jie and the rest next time. Good, very good. Mo Ching, you have guts. Seeing that Mo Ching insisted on interfering, Shirtong's expression became more ferocious. He gritted his teeth and glared at Mo Ching. Mo Ching, after this talisman battle ends, senior brother Huang Tian will definitely pay you a visit personally. I hope that you won't regret your actions now. After Shirtong said those words, he led his followers and walked towards the other areas of the second battle zone. Zhang Jie and the others relaxed when they saw Shirtong leave. They looked at Mo Qing with worry in their eyes and said, Senior brother Mo Qing, now that you've offended Shirtong, what if Shi Huang Tian blames you? Hee, junior brothers and sisters, don't worry. Mo Qing grinned when he saw the worried expressions on Zhang Jie's and the others' faces. He said, although Shi Huang Tian is formidable, there is no need to fear him if junior brother Mo and I join forces. Hearing Mo Qing's words, the expressions of Zhang Jie and the others relaxed quite a bit. They agreed with Mo Qing's words. Then, Zhang Jie and the rest stopped talking and sat down beside Mo Qing. In the number 1 theater of operations, a second seal soldier was taken out by Mo Qingyan. It instantly exploded in his hand and shot towards Ran Hong at an extremely fast speed. If one looked closely, they would find that the surface of this seal soldier was surrounded by a layer of black, mysterious power. This layer of black, mysterious power was the complete profundity of death that Mo Qingyun had just comprehended. Since that's the case, I'll use you to verify the profundity of death that I've comprehended. After detonating the second seal soldier, a cold smile appeared on the corners of Mo Qingyun's mouth. He had a strong expression of anticipation on his face. He really wanted to see if he could really take away Ran Hong's lifespan when he attacked him with the profundity of death. After that, the second seal soldier emitted a gloomy and deathly aura as it approached Ran Hong rapidly. A second seal soldier? When he saw Mo Qingyun take out a second seal soldier and activate it to attack him, Ran Hong immediately revealed a disdainful smile and mocked Mo Qingyun. I thought you were formidable when I saw how arrogant you were when you spoke just now. In the end, it turns out that you only know how to activate a second seal soldier. Guardian King Talisman. As soon as Ran Hong finished speaking, he took out a blue-green talisman and activated it to strengthen himself. As the talisman was activated, it transformed into a golden light screen that enveloped Ran Hong. Kid, don't say that I'm looking down on you. Even if I stand here without moving, your second seal soldier won't be able to hurt me at all. After activating the Guardian King Talisman, Ran Hong revealed a complacent smile and spoke arrogantly to Mo Qingyun. As Ran Hong spoke these arrogant words, the second seal symbol soldier wrapped in the intent of death blasted against the Guardian Talisman around Ran Hong's body. Bang! A muffled sound came from the Guardian King Talisman. The second seal soldier was blocked outside the golden light screen. Ran Hong revealed a complacent smile when he saw this scene, and then he raised his head and said arrogantly to Mo Qingyun, Kid, the might of your second seal talisman is really formidable. Why didn't my Vajra protection talisman even shake under its attack? At this moment, before Ran Hong finished speaking, his expression immediately became panicked. He said with a terrified expression, What's going on? Why is my body aging? At this moment, when Ran Hong spoke in a panic, his body started aging bit by bit. After a while, everyone saw that Ran Hong's appearance had changed from a youth to a middle-aged man. After this discovery, the surrounding people's expressions changed drastically and revealed shocked expressions. Look, Ran Hong seems to have aged all of a sudden. He turned from a youth to a dispirited middle-aged man. What's going on? Ran Hong was fine just now. Why did he age all of a sudden? He seems to have been struck by Mo Qingyun's second seal soldier and became like this in an instant. What? Under Mo Qingyun's attack, he turned from a youth to a middle-aged man. Mo Qingyun's means are too frightening. As they watched Ran Hong age, everyone's faces were filled with fear. They looked at Mo Qingyun in awe. That's the profound meaning of death. When the surrounding disciples revealed shocked expressions, Fong Peng also revealed a shocked expression when he saw Ran Hong's appearance. He exclaimed, "How many tricks does this kid have up his sleeve?" Even in the human path, I'm afraid very few people can comprehend the profound meaning of death. The profound meaning of death. Elder Tan revealed a shocked expression and stood up from his seat. He said with a shocked expression, "This kid's talent is really frightening. This seems to be the sixth type of profound meaning that he has comprehended to perfection." 6 types of profound meaning to perfection. Hearing Elder Tan's words, the surrounding elders were shocked. Their expressions immediately changed when they looked at Mo Qingyun. In their opinion, even in the human path, there was no one in the Yuan Dan realm who could comprehend 6 types of profound meaning to perfection. The profound meaning of death is really powerful. While everyone was shocked, Mo Qingyun noticed that Ran Hong's body had swiftly entered a state of aging under the corrosion of the profundity of death, and he immediately revealed a pleasantly surprised expression and said, "If that's the case, then I only have to use the profundity of death to deal with Ran Hong." Chapter 582. After activating the SEAL soldiers, Mo Qingyun once again released the Death Ultimacy and added it to the SEAL soldiers. Looking at the SEAL soldiers that were even more powerful and numerous than before, Ran Hong's expression immediately twitched. He was sure that if he was hit by the SEAL soldiers again, the aging speed of his body would increase by a lot. At that time, he would die of old age before Mo Qingyun even had to do anything. At the thought of this, Ran Hong looked at Mo Qingyun with a strong sense of awe. At this moment, he realized that the 100 million Origin Soul Stones were not that easy to obtain. Just as Mo Qingyun had said, he might be alive to take it, but he would not be alive to use it. "Run, I can't fight it head-on." After witnessing the power of the Death Ultimacy, Ran Hong did not dare to be careless anymore. He used the Vajra Protective Talisman to fight against the second SEAL soldier. Then, Ran Hong turned around and prepared to dodge the attacks of the second SEAL soldier. However, to Ran Hong's surprise, just as he was about to dodge, the speed of the second SEAL's talisman energy suddenly increased. Then, Ran Hong saw the SEAL soldiers hit the Vajra Protective Talisman rapidly. Bang, bang, bang. Then, a series of muffled sounds came from the Vajra Protective Talisman. As the muffled sounds came out, the Death Ultimacy passed through the Vajra Protective Talisman and blasted into Ran Hong's body. After being eroded by the Death Ultimacy, Ran Hong immediately aged again, much faster than before. After a while, they finally saw Ran Hong's appearance. He had turned from a middle-aged man to an old man, and his hair had turned white. Seeing this, the surrounding disciples immediately trembled and unconsciously distanced themselves from Mo Qingyun. 10th Young Sect Master is so powerful. 6th Young Sect Master Ran Hong is like a dead dog in front of him. It seems that among the disciples, only the 1st Young Sect Master and the 2nd Young Sect Master can fight the 10th Young Sect Master head-on. In that case, the top 3 of this year's Talisman Battle is a foregone conclusion. Seeing Mo Qingyun oppressing Ran Hong, the surrounding disciples' expressions changed, and they could not help but sigh in their hearts. While the crowd was sighing in their hearts, Mo Qingyun's hands did not stop moving, and he attacked Ran Hong again. This time, Mo Qingyun took out more SEAL soldiers, a total of 50 SEAL soldiers. As soon as Mo Qingyun activated the 50 Talisman soldiers with the profundity of death, they emitted a terrifying profundity of death. Under the suppression of ultimacy of Death Ultimacy, they felt that their lives were quickly slipping away ultimacy of their lives. Junior brother Mo, I'm sorry, please don't kill me." When he saw the 52nd SEAL Talisman soldiers attacking, Ran Hong's aged face immediately revealed an intense expression of terror, and he hurriedly begged Mo Qingyun for mercy. "No, senior brother Mo, it's my fault, not Mount Tai. Please be magnanimous and spare me." Without waiting for Ran Hong to finish his words, The 50 SEAL soldiers that carried the ultimacy of death hit the Vajra protective talisman outside his body. Bang! 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 Under the attack of the 50 SEAL soldiers, the Vajra protective talisman outside Ran Hong's body immediately let out a firecracker-like sound. However, what attracted the crowd's attention was not the explosion of the SEAL soldiers, but Ran Hong, who was being eroded by the ultimacy of death. At this moment, everyone realized that Ran Hong's body had become crooked under the ultimacy of death's erosion, and his body had shrunk a lot. In the eyes of the crowd, Ran Hong was like a dried corpse. He lay there motionless, and his aura was getting weaker. Soon, Ran Hong's aura gradually disappeared under the crowd's gaze. Ran Hong was dead. Under Mo Qingyun's attack, Ran Hong's lifespan was exhausted, and he died of old age in the blink of an eye. This sort of death could be said to be slightly miserable and despairing. Of course, the thing that shocked everyone the most was that Mo Qingyun actually dared to kill someone during the talisman battle. Such actions could be said to have broken the rules of the Thatched Talisman sect that had existed for a few thousand years, the iron law that prohibited killing during the talisman battle. Junior brother Mo actually killed Ran Hong. When they saw Mo Qingyun kill Ran Hong, the expressions of Mo Qing and the others shook, and they were extremely shocked by this scene. At this moment, they were truly shocked by Mo Qingyun's actions, and they didn't dare believe that this was true. Even Shi Huangtian didn't dare kill someone during the talisman battle. At this moment, they had no choice but to admire Mo Qingyun because he was truly too bold. Hiss! Mo Qingyun is really ruthless. Dan Qing's expression instantly turned pale when she saw Mo Qingyun directly kill Ran Hong, and a wave of lingering fear arose in her heart. At this moment, Dan Qing finally realized how lucky she was to be able to keep her life. Based on the ruthlessness and decisiveness Mo Qingyun displayed, if Mo Qingyun wanted to kill her back then, she would absolutely not be able to survive until now. Mo Qingyun killed Ran Hong. Shi Huangtian and the others were shocked when they saw Mo Qingyun kill Ran Hong, and they revealed astonished expressions. Mo Qingyun's actions at this moment had truly exceeded their expectations. After a short moment of shock, Shi Huangtian and the others revealed sinister smiles on their faces. Mo Qingyun actually violated the rules of the Thatched Talisman sect in front of the sect master and all the elders. He was simply courting death. When he thought of this, Shi Huangtian revealed a cold smile of schadenfreude. He berated Mo Qingyun. Mo Qingyun, how audacious of you! The sect has clearly stated that killing fellow disciples is prohibited during the talisman competition, yet you've actually ignored the sect's rules. Kneel down obediently and receive your punishment. Fang Peng and the others' expressions changed when they heard Shi Huangtian's words. They immediately frowned, and their gazes towards Mo Qingyun became slightly complicated. Mo Qingyun was a rare genius. If Mo Qingyun was punished by the sect's rules, because of this, they would be unable to bear it. However, Mo Qingyun had relied on his own talent to kill a fellow disciple during the talisman competition. This was simply committing a grave offense. If such actions that disregarded the sect's rules were not punished, it would probably disappoint the other disciples. Receive punishment. When Fang Peng and the others revealed a difficult expression, Mo Qingyun glanced at Shi Huangtian with disdain. He pretended to be puzzled and said, Shi Huangtian, which eye of yours saw me killing a fellow disciple? Both of my eyes saw it. Moreover, all the elders and the sect master saw it. Shi Huangtian's face immediately darkened when he saw Mo Qingyun trying to twist words and force logic. He spoke furiously. Both of your eyes? When you say both of your eyes, are you referring to your navel and the asshole behind you? The corners of Mo Qingyun's mouth curled up slightly when he saw Shi Huangtian's actions. A trace of ridicule flashed through his eyes as he said with a faint smile, Otherwise, how could you lie through your teeth in front of everyone? Shi Huangtian was lying through his teeth. Chapter 583. Shi Huangtian's expression turned anxious when he heard Mo Qingyun's insults. He wanted to curse back at Mo Qingyun. However, before Shi Huangtian could speak, Mo Qingyun interrupted him and said, "Shi Huangtian, don't use your ignorance to assume that everyone is like you. Not everyone is as stupid as you." Mo Qingyun. Shi Huangtian's expression turned ferocious when he heard Mo Qingyun insulting him again. He wanted nothing more than to tear Mo Qingyun into pieces. He, Shi Huangtian, was the first young sect master of the Thatched Talisman sect. He was the strongest person in the Thatched Talisman sect. He had noble status. Yet, Mo Qingyun had insulted him again and again. This matter had exceeded the limit of his tolerance. Mo Qingyun chose to ignore Shi Huangtian's anger. He looked at Fang Peng sternly and asked, "Sect Master, Qingyun has a question. I wonder if Sect Master can clear it up for me?" Fang Peng was stunned when he heard Mo Qingyun's words. He was surprised by Mo Qingyun's action. After being stunned for a moment, a faint smile appeared on Fang Peng's face. He waved his hand at Mo Qingyun and said, "There's no harm in saying it. If this sect leader knows about it, he will definitely give you a satisfactory answer." "Thank you, Sect Master." Mo Qingyun cupped his hands together and thanked Fang Peng. He smiled faintly and said, "Disciple would like to ask Sect Master if life, old age, sickness, and death are the rules of heaven." "Of course they are the rules of heaven," Fang Peng answered without hesitation. The smile on Mo Qingyun's face became even brighter when he heard Fang Peng's answer. He said, "In that case, did Ran Hong die of old age because of the cycle of life, old age, sickness, and death?" Fang Peng fell silent when he heard Mo Qingyun's words. He didn't know how to answer. After a short period of silence, Fang Peng frowned and said in a deep voice, "That's right. Just now, Ran Hong died of old age here. It is indeed the cycle of life, old age, sickness, and death." "Thank you, Sect Master, for being able to judge right from wrong and prove Qingyun's innocence." Upon hearing Fang Peng's words, a brilliant smile appeared on Mo Qingyun's face. After thanking Fang Peng, he smiled and said, "If that's the case, Ran Hong's death shouldn't be blamed on this disciple, right?" Ugh. Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Fang Peng's expression immediately froze. He immediately understood Mo Qingyun's intention. "You brat, you're really cunning." After understanding Mo Qingyun's intentions, Fang Peng bitterly smiled. He knew that he had been tricked by Mo Qingyun. However, even though he understood Mo Qingyun's intentions, Fang Peng did not feel displeased. Instead, he felt some admiration for Mo Qingyun. From the looks of it, this should have been planned from the start. He had long thought of an excuse for himself to expand. This brat is really scheming. Ran Hong is far from being comparable to him. At this moment, when Fang Peng bitterly smiled, the Supreme Elder sighed and said, "Ran Hong's death at Mo Qingyun's hands is not too unjust. It seems that we have underestimated this brat's potential again. His future achievements might surpass Shi Huangtian." After hearing the Supreme Elder's words, Fang Peng sighed and looked at Mo Qingyun with a faint smile. He said, "I now announce that Ran Hong's death was due to his lifespan running out. It has nothing to do with Mo Qingyun." At this moment, the expressions of the surrounding people changed drastically, and they began to discuss among themselves. "What? Sect Master actually announced that Ran Hong's death has nothing to do with Mo Qingyun? 10th Young Sect Master is too awesome. He killed Ran Hong in front of the Sect Master and all the elders. The Sect Master actually announced that it has nothing to do with him. 10th Young Sect Master, I love you so much. I want to have children with you. 10th Young Sect Master, you are my idol. I have already washed my chrysanthemum." For a moment, the gazes of the surrounding disciples towards Mo Qingyun were filled with intense worship and ambiguity. "Haha, this brat is really something. He made me worried for a long time." When Elder Tan saw that Fang Peng had announced that Mo Qingyun was not responsible for Ran Hong's death, he was overjoyed and looked at Mo Qingyun with gratification. Tan Lin Zhan, you old man, you're really lucky to have met such a monstrous disciple. Old Tan, we have known each other for a long time. Why don't you let Qingyun be my unofficial disciple? That's right. Let Qingyun be our unofficial disciple. It won't affect you, the real master. At this moment, after Elder Tan's words sounded, the other elders by the side all revealed envious expressions and spoke sour words to Elder Tan. Get lost. How can a genius like Qingyun be someone you can guide? When Elder Tan heard the words of the surrounding elders, he immediately became vigilant and rejected them directly. He smiled proudly and said, if Qingyun's cultivation is affected under your guidance, it will be my fault. Hearing Elder Tan's words, the elders immediately spat out a mouthful of blood and looked at Elder Tan with resentment. It was fine if this old man was unwilling, but why did he have to belittle others? He was simply a villain intoxicated by success. Although the elders were unhappy, they could not help but admire Elder Tan's luck to have accepted a disciple like Mo Qingyun. This was no longer stepping on dog poop, but directly sitting on cow poop. At this moment, when the elders were envious of Elder Tan, Mo Qingyun had a faint smile on his face as he turned around to look at Shi Huangtan. His expression instantly turned cold and indifferent as he said coldly, Shi Huangtian, you deceived the sect master and the elders just now and intended to harm me, the junior sect master of the Mao Talisman sect. What are your intentions? Could it be that you're a spy sent by the Corpse Talisman sect? When they heard Mo Qingyun's words, the surrounding elders spat out another mouthful of blood. Then, they looked at Mo Qingyun and Elder Tan with strange expressions. Mo Qingyun's ability to play the blame game was exactly the same as Elder Tan's. At this moment, they finally understood what it meant by birds of a feather flocking together. At this moment, they finally understood why Elder Tan was able to accept Mo Qingyun as his disciple. These two fellows were simply the same type of trash. Mo Qingyun, you're playing the blame game. When he heard Mo Qingyun's words, Shi Huangtian's expression immediately froze, and he hurriedly retorted. A trace of panic and guilt flashed through his eyes. There was nothing he could do about it. After all, he was indeed a spy sent by the Corpse Talisman sect. Being directly exposed by Mo Qingyun, it was difficult for him not to feel guilty. Of course, the most important thing was that he did not expect Mo Qingyun to say it so directly. He was caught unprepared for it. I was just casually speaking. Why are you so agitated? Didn't you slander me like that earlier? Chapter 584. Mo Qingyun, don't you dare spout nonsense here. Shi Huangtian's face immediately sank when he heard Mo Qingyun's words. He revealed a cold and arrogant expression as he said, I entered the sect at the age of 15 and have never taken a single step out of the sect for the past 30 years. The sect master and the elders should know that I'm a spy for the Corpse Talisman sect. Oh, senior brother Huangtian, you really are amazing. Mo Qingyun smiled meaningfully as a playful look flashed through his eyes. He smiled faintly. Senior brother Huangtian, you've endured hardships and hidden yourself in the sect for 30 years to achieve your goal. You climbed from an ordinary disciple to the position of the first junior sect master. Now, you're only a step away from success. I truly admire you. Shi Huangtian's face twitched when he heard Mo Qingyun's words. It was as if Mo Qingyun's words had struck a nerve. Shortly after, Shi Huangtian revealed a panicked expression. He said angrily to Mo Qingyun with a gloomy expression, Mo Qingyun, if you continue spouting nonsense like this, don't blame this young lord for being impolite to you. Impolite to me? Mo Qingyun narrowed his eyes as a playful look flashed through his eyes. He replied in a mocking tone, Senior brother Huangtian, are you trying to silence me because you have a guilty conscience? You. Shi Huangtian's guilty expression unconsciously deepened when he heard Mo Qingyun's words. He waved his sleeve and turned his head away. Humph. You have a sharp tongue. This young lord rarely bickers with you. Sure, Huangtian knew very well that with Mo Qingyun's sharp tongue, he really might be exposed if he continued bickering with Mo Qingyun. Mo Qingyun smiled bitterly when he saw that Shi Huangtian had stopped bickering with him. He didn't continue speaking to Shi Huangtian. He believed that after the incident from before, Fang Peng and the others should be able to notice that something was off with Shi Huangtian. Mo Qingyun's guess was correct. When they saw Shi Huangtian's expression earlier, the expressions of Fang Peng and the others changed slightly. A trace of doubt flashed through their eyes. Earlier, when Mo Qingyun spoke, Shi Huangtian's reaction was a little abnormal. Everyone couldn't help but think about it. However, due to the lack of concrete evidence, Fang Peng and the others did not say much. They only exchanged glances. After Fang Peng and the others exchanged glances, everyone was shocked. They actually all had this feeling. If something was out of the ordinary, there must be something fishy going on. In that case, Mo Qingyun's words just now had to be taken seriously. Even if Mo Qingyun was exaggerating, they still had to take precautions. After all, this matter concerned the survival of the Mao Fu sect. When he saw the changes in Fang Peng and the others' expressions, Mo Qingyun smiled faintly. He had achieved the effect he wanted. After that, Mo Qingyun stopped thinking about it. He sat down cross-legged on the spot and began to draw talisman soldiers. After the successive battles, the 502nd SEAL talisman soldiers that he had drawn in the past had all been used up. At that moment, he had to draw some talisman soldiers to replenish his battle strength. When the disciples in Battle Zone 1 saw that Mo Qingyun was drawing talisman soldiers, no one dared to disturb him. It was probably because the scene of Mo Qingyun killing Ran Hong had given them too much shock. In this talisman amulet battle, Mo Qingyun was probably the first person who dared to directly kill someone from the same sect. More importantly, Mo Qingyun had killed Ran Hong, but Mo Qingyun hadn't received any punishment at all. This result was really out of everyone's expectations. With Ran Hong's identity as the 6th young sect master, he had been killed by Mo Qingyun without being able to do anything to Mo Qingyun. If these ordinary disciples were killed by Mo Qingyun, they would have nowhere to redress their grievances. At the thought of this, the surrounding ordinary disciples retreated and distanced themselves from Mo Qingyun again. They didn't want Mo Qingyun to feel that they were provoking Mo Qingyun and causing Mo Qingyun to attack them. Seeing that the surrounding disciples had distanced themselves from him, Mo Qingyun relaxed and began to draw talisman soldiers leisurely. Seeing that Mo Qingyun was drawing talisman soldiers leisurely, the disciples at the side suddenly felt like crying. If they wanted to advance in the talisman amulet battle, they would have to prepare for a long time and go through many life and death battles. But Mo Qingyun, he was sharpening his spear at the last minute every time. More importantly, no one dared to disturb him. This was the gap between them. Thinking that the talisman soldiers that Mo Qingyun was drawing now would be the saber and spear that would defeat them later, the disciples felt even more depressed. They had sinned. As such, time passed little by little while Mo Qingyun was drawing talisman amulets. Alright, the attack that I am relying on now is mainly based on the death ultimacy. In this case, the strength of the talisman soldier is not important. After drawing close to 102nd SEAL talisman soldiers, Mo Qingyun's expression suddenly changed, and he suddenly thought of something. In this case, wouldn't it be a waste for me to draw 2nd SEAL talisman soldiers? I might as well draw 1st SEAL talisman soldiers. It can save time and increase efficiency. After thinking about this, Mo Qingyun no longer hesitated and no longer drew 2nd SEAL talisman soldiers. He drew 1st SEAL talisman soldiers. 1st SEAL talisman soldiers. Seeing Mo Qingyun's actions, everyone was stunned and confused by Mo Qingyun's actions. Was Mo Qingyun planning to only use 1st SEAL talisman soldiers when he fought later? Elder son, are you able to see through that little fellow, Mo Qingyun's plan? I can't. This little guy's way of doing things is always unexpected and unpredictable. Now I am more and more curious about how he is going to use 1st SEAL talisman soldiers to fight later. At this moment, All the elders were curious and looked at Mo Qingyun with faint smiles. Next, Mo Qingyun continued to draw first seal talisman soldiers under everyone's curious gazes. As it was easier to draw first seal talisman soldiers, Mo Qingyun's speed of drawing talisman soldiers increased significantly. Just like that, several hours later, the first round of eliminations ended. 102nd Seal Talisman Soldiers, 1,101st Seal Talisman Soldiers. A bright smile appeared on Mo Qingyun's face as he looked at his gains from the first round. He was very satisfied with his results. Seeing this, Mo Qingyun kept the 1,000 over talisman soldiers and prepared for the second round. The second round is the named battle. Thinking about the rules of the second round, Mo Qingyun immediately smiled brightly and turned to look at Shurtong. Sensing Mo Qingyun's gaze, Shurtong's expression immediately darkened, and he said coldly to Mo Qingyun, "Mo Qingyun, let's see who can protect you in the second round of the named battle. If that's the case, senior brother Shurtong, you're going to challenge me?" Hearing Shurtong's words, Mo Qingyun was slightly taken aback, and he smiled with anticipation. Chapter 585. Mo Qingyun, don't be too full of yourself. I'm not that trash Ranhong. Shurtong's expression darkened when he saw the faint smile on Mo Qingyun's face as he continued. Although your ultimacy is a little troublesome, it is not the slightest bit of threat to me. You're so sure? Mo Qingyun's expression changed slightly as he looked towards Shurtong in astonishment. He was somewhat surprised by the latter's reaction. From the fearless expression on Shurtong's face, Mo Qingyun faintly felt that the latter should have something to rely on. Since the first elimination round is over, let's rest for an hour. The second round of the named battle will begin shortly. At this moment, while Mo Qingyun and Shurtong were conversing, a cold and deep voice sounded out from the elders' seating area. Upon hearing this, Mo Qingyun and the rest sat down and adjusted their breathing to recover the energy they had expended in the previous battle. An hour passed in the blink of an eye. The 1 hour break is over. The second round of the named battle will begin. Upon seeing that the break was over, the elder stood up from his seat and reminded the crowd in a clear voice. Mo Qingyun, get your ass over here and fight. Upon hearing the elder's words, Shurtong impatiently walked over to an empty space. Upon hearing Shurtong's words, Mo Qingyun did not hesitate as he slowly stood up and walked towards the ladder. Mo Qingyun, today I will let you know the consequences of offending me. Upon seeing Mo Qingyun approach, Shurtong's expression immediately turned sinister as he raised his hand and retrieved a green-blue talisman. Adversity Holy Spirit Talisman. Shurtong took out the talisman and activated it without any hesitation. Then, he applied it to himself. With the help of the talisman, the aura on Shurtong's body immediately grew stronger, reaching the 6th seal stage in the blink of an eye. Upon sensing the change in Shurtong's aura, the expressions of the surrounding crowd immediately changed as shock appeared on their faces. The aura of a 6th seal, Great Symbol Master. With the help of the Adversity Holy Spirit Talisman, Shurtong's cultivation broke through to the 6th seal, Great Symbol Master level. The Adversity Holy Spirit Talisman. I never imagined that Shurtong would actually have such an item. This time, Mo Qingyun is in trouble. Although he borrowed the power of the talisman to raise his cultivation to the 6th seal stage, this is still not something that a 5th seal practitioner can match. That's right, a 6th seal symbol master is called a Great Symbol Master. This means that the 6th seal is a watershed and is fundamentally different from a 5th seal symbol master. This is good too. The battle between Shur and Mo will be even more exciting. At this moment, when the elders sensed the change in Shurtong's aura, they all revealed expressions of anticipation. A 6th seal Great Symbol Master. Seeing Shurtong raise his cultivation with the help of the talisman, Elder Tan's expression tensed up. There was a trace of worry in his eyes as he hurriedly said to Mo Qingyun, "Qingyun, Don't fight Sher Tong head-on. If you can't beat him, just admit defeat. With your 5 seal cultivation, losing to him isn't shameful. Master, do you have so little confidence in me? Mo Qingyun smiled bitterly when he heard Elder Tan's words. He replied, he's just a piece of trash that borrowed external power. There's nothing to worry about. A piece of trash that borrowed external power? Nothing to worry about. Everyone's expressions changed when they saw Mo Qingyun's attitude. They were all shocked. From Mo Qingyun's current performance, he did not seem to care about Sher Tong at all. Could it be that he still had some unknown trump card? When they thought of this, the curiosity on everyone's faces immediately intensified. They were looking forward to the battle between Mo Qingyun and Luo Yunyang. Elder Tan was momentarily stunned before joy appeared on his face as he laughed heartily at Mo Qingyun. Since that's the case, don't hold back. Beat this kid until he can't get hard. Everyone was speechless when they heard Elder Tan's words. They were all convinced by Elder Tan. This old man really had no respect for his age. Mo Qingyun smiled faintly and shook his head when he heard Elder Tan's words. He turned his head to look at Sher Tong and smiled. Senior Sher Tong, you shouldn't be that old, right? What do you mean by that? Sher Tong's expression instinctively froze when he heard Mo Qingyun's words. A cold glint flashed across his eyes as he raised his guard against Mo Qingyun in his heart. Nothing. Qingyun shrugged his shoulders when he saw Sher Tong's vigilant expression. He smiled faintly and said, I'm just worried that when we fight later, you might suddenly die of old age like Ran Hong. Sher Tong's expression immediately twitched when he heard Mo Qingyun's words. Panic and anger flashed across his eyes. Mo Qingyun's words were clearly hinting to him that he should kill him in the process of exchanging blows later. Sher Tong's expression darkened when he understood Mo Qingyun's intentions. He coldly snorted and said, Humph, this is my business. You don't have to interfere. Haha, is that so? The smile on Mo Qingyun's face immediately became brighter when he heard Sher Tong's words. He said, since that's the case, I'm relieved. I can attack without any worries later. As soon as Mo Qingyun finished speaking, he did not waste any more words with Sher Tong and directly took out 50 first seal soldiers. Mo Qingyun released the Death Ultimacy and added it to the 50 single seal rune soldiers. After adding the Death Ultimacy to the single seal rune soldiers, Mo Qingyun did not hesitate and immediately activated the 50 single seal rune soldiers. Then, 50 talisman soldiers enhanced with the profundity of death shot towards Sher Tong at an extremely fast speed, carrying a gloomy and deathly aura. Using the single seal rune soldiers to attack. Mo Qingyun, you think too highly of yourself. Sher Tong's face was filled with disdain when he saw the 50 single seal rune soldiers attacking him. He took out a blue-green talisman, Vajra Protective Talisman. Taking out the Vajra Protective Talisman, Sher Tong immediately activated it to block the attacks of Mo Qingyun's 51 seal talisman soldiers. Then, a golden light erupted from the Vajra Protective Talisman and enveloped Sher Tong within it. At the same time, the 50 single seal rune soldiers with the Death Ultimacy also bombarded the Vajra Protective Talisman. However, what was different this time was that the 50 single seal runic soldiers did not cause any harm to Sher Tong at all. Even the Death Ultimacy on the single seal rune soldiers was unable to penetrate the Vajra Protective Talisman and cause any harm to Sher Tong. A 6-seal Great Symbol Master is indeed different. Mo Qingyun's expression changed slightly when he saw this scene. Astonishment flashed across his eyes. Sher Tong revealed a complacent sneer when he saw that Mo Qingyun's 50 single seal rune soldiers were easily blocked by the Vajra Protective Talisman. He said, Mo Qingyun, if this is all you've got, the battle between us will be over. Sher Tong, it seems that you're celebrating too early. Mo Qingyun smiled brilliantly when he heard Sher Tong's words. He replied, that was merely a warm-up. The real battle is about to begin. Chapter 586, following which, a light door emitting an ancient aura appeared above Mo Qingyun's body. Seeing the light door martial soul above Mo Qingyun's body, everyone in the talisman battlefield immediately revealed shocked expressions. Following which, everyone looked at each other in dismay, wanting to get an answer from each other. What's this light door? Is it a treasure? I don't know either. It should be a technique of the mortal path. After all, Mo Qingyun came from the mortal path. Mo Qingyun used the mortal path's technique to fight in the talisman battlefield. This seems to have broken the rules of the talisman battlefield, right? At this moment, all the disciples looked curiously at Mo Qingyun and began to discuss among themselves. While the disciples were discussing, Fang Peng and the other elders in the elders' seating area also revealed shocked expressions. At this moment, a short elder looked curiously at Fang Peng and asked, "Sect leader, can you tell the origin of Mo Qingyun's light door?" Hearing the elder's words, Fang Peng's expression froze, and he revealed an embarrassed expression. I'm not very sure either. It should be a technique of the mortal path's martial soul. Hearing Fang Peng's words, all the elders were stunned, and their expressions became even more shocked. They really didn't expect that even with Fang Peng's eyesight, he couldn't tell the origin of the light door above Mo Qingyun's body. At this moment, Fang Peng and the others revealed shocked expressions. Martial soul. Elder Tan's expression changed slightly, and he revealed some surprise on his face. He smiled faintly and said, "I didn't expect this kid to have such a thing on him. This is really surprising." Martial soul? Hearing Elder Tan's words, the surrounding elders' expressions immediately changed, and they looked curiously at Elder Tan. "Elder Tan, the martial soul you mentioned just now, is it the light door above Mo Qingyun's body?" At this time, an elder revealed an expression of humility and asked Elder Tan for advice. "Elder Su, your words can be considered correct, but not completely correct." Seeing everyone's expressions, Elder Tan revealed a profound expression and replied, "Martial soul. This is a unique talent of a martial soul from a foreign continent outside the 7 great ancient roads." Following that, Elder Tan explained some information about martial souls to everyone. Hearing Elder Tan's explanation, everyone's expressions immediately revealed shock in their expressions when they looked at Mo Qingyun's body. If that was the case, didn't mean that Mo Qingyun had come from a foreign continent. It had to be said that Mo Qingyun's identity was shocking. After guessing Mo Qingyun's origins, everyone revealed curious expressions again. They asked Elder Tan, "Elder Tan, according to what you said, doesn't that mean Mo Qingyun came from that foreign continent?" If I'm not mistaken, that should be the case. In response to the crowd's words, Elder Tan revealed a profound smile and nodded to the crowd. At this moment, while everyone was talking, Mo Qingyun attacked Shirtong. "Seal gate, seal for me." After summoning the sealed door, Mo Qingyun did not hesitate to use his martial soul superpower on Shirtong. Next, Mo Qingyun blasted out a mini version of the light gate, and it shot towards Shirtong with extreme speed. In the face of absolute strength, no matter what method you use, it's useless. Looking at the sealed door that was rapidly approaching him, Shirtong's face was filled with disdain as he waited for the sealed door to attack him. Is that so? Looking at Shirtong's actions, the smile on Mo Qingyun's face immediately became brighter. He laughed and said, "I hope that you can still speak like this after being hit by the sealed door." At this moment, before Mo Qingyun could finish his words, Shirtong's face turned pale and he spat out a mouthful of blood. Following that, Shirtong's aura began to weaken rapidly. In just a short while, Shirtong's cultivation fell from the initial stage of the 6th seal to the initial stage of the 5th seal. He had fallen by an entire realm. How? How can this be? When he realized that his cultivation had fallen by an entire realm, Shirtong's expression immediately turned into one of panic. He was truly frightened by the situation. Following that, Shirtong looked at Mo Qingyun with eyes filled with respect and fear. A technique that could seal another person's cultivation was simply too strange for Tong. While Tong's face was filled with fear, the other people on the battlefield were also shocked. Am I seeing things? The light door summoned by the 10th young sect master can seal another person's cultivation. The 3rd young sect master had his cultivation sealed by an entire realm under the 10th young sect master's attack. The 10th young sect master is too awesome. If he can seal another person's cultivation by an entire realm, wouldn't the 10th young sect master be able to easily fight someone with a higher realm? The 10th young sect master is so powerful. It seems like no one in the Thatched Talisman sect can suppress him. At this moment, the way the disciples looked at Mo Qingyun changed drastically. Their gazes were filled with fanaticism and worship. Like the disciples, the elders in the elders' seating area were also shocked when they saw this scene. Elder Tan, do all the cultivators from the other continent have the same technique as Qingyun? After seeing Mo Qingyun's technique, an elder was shocked and asked Elder Tan. Even they had never heard of a technique that could seal another person's cultivation by an entire realm. When he heard the elder's question, Elder Tan immediately revealed an awkward expression. He laughed embarrassedly and said, I only know that the cultivators from the other continent have a talent called martial soul. As for what kind of abilities they have, I'm not sure. After hearing Elder Tan's words, the crowd no longer said anything. They all looked at Mo Qingyun nervously. Mo Qingyun didn't pay attention to the shocked expressions of the crowd. After using the seal gate on Tong, he attacked again without hesitation. At this moment, Mo Qingyun took out 50 single seal talisman soldiers and imbued them with the Profound of Death. After adding the Profound of Death to the single seal soldiers, Mo Qingyun activated them and decisively attacked Tong. When he saw Mo Qingyun attacking him again, Tong's expression changed drastically. His eyes flashed with intense panic. Even with Ran Hong's advanced 5th seal cultivation, he couldn't resist the corrosion of the Profound of Death. Now that he was only at the initial 5th seal cultivation, he couldn't resist it. When he thought of Ran Hong's death, Tong's face became filled with panic and his face twitched. Then, Tong no longer hesitated and hurriedly turned around to escape. He wanted to avoid the bombardment of the single seal soldiers. But just as Tong was about to dodge, those first seal talisman soldiers suddenly erupted with a perfect profundity of wind. With the support of this perfect wind profound meaning, the speed of these first seal talisman soldiers instantly increased by more than a few times. Bang! 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 Chapter 587. The first seal talisman instantly exploded upon collision with the Vajra protective talisman, and it formed a shocking storm of force. As soon as the storm of force was formed, Tong, who bore the brunt of it, was instantly swallowed by it. When the storm of force swallowed Tong, the profundity of death contained within the storm seeped into the Vajra protective talisman. As soon as the profundity of death seeped into the Vajra protective talisman, it started to erode Tong's lifespan and caused him to age. Everyone's pupils constricted when they saw Tong age within the storm of force, and they immediately thought of a possibility. Mo Qingyun intended to kill Tong, just like how he'd killed Ran Hong. While everyone was shocked, Mo Qingyun withdrew another first seal talisman and swiftly added the profundity of death to them. After that, Mo Qingyun didn't hesitate any longer and sent the first seal talisman at Tong once more. Bang! 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 The first seal talisman was blasted out by Mo Qingyun, and it didn't take long for them to strike the Vajra protective talisman and explode. After that, an even more terrifying profundity of death slammed into Tong's body and swiftly consumed his lifespan. Mo Qingyun, stop! Huangtian's expression changed drastically when he saw Mo Qingyun's actions, and he shouted coldly at Mo Qingyun. After that, Huangtian's figure flashed, and he swiftly approached Mo Qingyun while a talisman appeared in his hand. The spring lightning myriad sword talisman. Shi Huangtian took out the talisman and activated it without hesitation. He threw the talisman at Mo Qingyun. After that, dark clouds started to converge in the sky above Mo Qingyun, while numerous bolts of lightning flashed within them. As soon as the bolts of lightning appeared, they condensed into numerous lightning swords that shot down towards Mo Qingyun. Mo Qingyun didn't hold back when he saw the lightning swords that shot towards him, and he directly summoned Iron Bull from Hexian Hall. Iron Bull, help me block these lightning swords. After summoning Tainyo, Mo Qingyun instructed Tainyo before charging toward Shirtong. When Mo Qingyun attacked Shirtong, he took out many more First Seal Talisman soldiers. There were close to a few hundred of them. When Mo Qingyun took out the hundreds of First Seal Talisman soldiers, they were immediately imbued with the profundity of death and emitted a terrifying aura. Mo Qingyun imbued the First Seal Rune soldiers with the profound of death. Without any hesitation, he commanded them to attack Shirtong. Subsequently, hundreds of First Seal symbol soldiers instantly swallowed Shirtong like a cluster of black clouds. Shirtong was swallowed up by the hundreds of First Seal Talisman soldiers. He immediately let out a miserable shriek and begged Shi Huangtian for help. "Brother Huangtian, save me." However, before Shirtong could finish speaking, his voice suddenly came to a halt within the black fog. After discovering this, everyone immediately thought of a possibility. Shirtong was dead. After a short while, when everyone saw Shirtong again, he had already turned into a pile of decayed bones. He had died in an even more miserable state than Ran Hong. After seeing this scene, everyone's expression was shocked, and a look of horror appeared on their faces. After that, regardless of whether it was the disciples or the elders, they all looked at Mo Qingyun with reverence in their eyes. Mo Qingyun was so ruthless. Once he was about to kill someone, the decisiveness and coldness he displayed was truly frightening. Hiss! When Dan Xing saw that Shirtong had also been killed by Mo Qingyun, his face twitched, and he couldn't help but suck in a breath of cold air. Mo Qingyun had killed another person. Moreover, the person he had killed was the third young master of the Mao Fu sect, Shirtong. It's already 4. When Dan Xing thought of the number of young masters that had died at Mo Qingyun's hands, a lingering fear rose in his heart. His back was drenched in cold sweat. He was really lucky to be able to keep his life. Junior brother, Mo really doesn't hesitate at all when he does things. When Mo Qing saw that Mo Qingyun had killed Shirtong, he sighed emotionally. In his heart, he was filled with admiration for Mo Qingyun. Other than the sect master and the grand elder, Mo Qingyun was probably the only person who dared to act in such a manner in the Mao Fu sect. Even if Shi Huangtian and the other elders wanted to kill the young masters of the Mao Fu sect, they wouldn't dare to act as brazenly as Mo Qingyun. While everyone was shocked by Mo Qingyun's actions, a solemn expression appeared on Fong Peng's face. An elder's expression was solemn as he looked at Fong Peng, asking for his opinion. "Sectmaster, this Mo Qingyun killed Shirtong. What should we do now?" In the elder's opinion, Mo Qingyun's killing of Ran Hong could be considered an accident. However, now that he had killed Shirtong, he was acting brazenly and had no regard for the rules of the sect. "What else can we do?" Fong Peng smiled bitterly when he heard the elder's words. He sighed inwardly. This brat had already thought of an excuse when he killed Ran Hong. Now that he's using the same method to kill Shirtong, what else can we say? It seems like Mo Qingyun is participating in this year's talisman assembly competition just to kill. Even as Fong Peng smiled wryly, the Prime Elder's expression turned serious as he sighed and said, "That's right." Fong Peng and the other elders were shocked when they heard the Grand Elder's words. Shock rose in their hearts. He's here to kill. Based on how Mo Qingyun had killed Shirtong and Shi Huangtian, it seemed like he was here just to kill. After a brief moment of shock, Fong Peng asked the Grand Elder beside him, "Grand Elder, what should we do now?" "Don't interfere for now. Let Mo Qingyun and Shi Huang Tian deal with it on their own. The Grand Elder had a solemn expression when he heard Fong Peng's words. He looked at Mo Qingyun and Shi Huang Tian and said in a deep voice, "A mountain cannot accommodate two tigers. Since Mo Qingyun and Shi Huang Tian can't get along peacefully, let them settle it today." Grand Elder, you mean? Fong Peng was shocked when he heard the Grand Elder's words. He instantly understood the Grand Elder's meaning. The Grand Elder was planning to choose between Mo Qingyun and Shi Huang Tian to be the future sect master of the Thatched Talisman sect. In this way, to Mo Qingyun and Shi Huang Tian, the winner was king while the loser was in the wrong. The winner would live and the loser would die. Fong Peng didn't say anything else after he understood the Grand Elder's intention. He silently watched the battle between Mo Qingyun and Shi Huang Tian. The surrounding elders didn't say anything else when they heard Fong Peng and the Grand Elder's words. They all turned their heads to look at Mo Qingyun and Shi Huang Tian. Elder Tan smiled faintly when he heard Fong Peng's intention. He said to Mo Qingyun, "Qingyun, no one will interfere with your personal grudge with Shi Huang Tian. You don't have to hold back anymore." "All right." Mo Qingyun sneered when he heard Elder Tan's words. He decided to attack without holding back. "Seal gate, seal for me." Chapter 588. Shi Huangtian's face immediately twitched when he saw Mo Qingyun's attack. A trace of panic flashed through his eyes. He had seen Shi Tong's situation clearly just now. Under the attack of the sealed door, Shi Tong's divine soul was immediately suppressed and his cultivation rapidly weakened. Therefore, he had already taken precautions against Mo Qingyun's attack. He knew very well that once he was struck by the door of seals, the outcome of the battle between him and Mo Qingyun would be decided. Undead corpse. Shi Huang Tian didn't dare to hold back anymore when he thought of that. He immediately summoned a black figure to block in front of him. As soon as the black figure appeared, it emitted an eerie aura that was no different from the zombie on Tombstone Mountain. Spurt. As soon as the black figure appeared, it blocked the door of seals for Shi Huang Tian, and the door of seals sealed his spirit. Following which, the aura of the black figure rapidly weakened. Shi Huang Tian sneered when he saw the black figure blocking Mo Qingyun's door of seals for him. He said, "Mo Qingyun, I've already neutralized your attack. Let's see what else you're capable of." The door of seals has been neutralized. Mo Qingyun was extremely shocked when he saw this scene. It seemed to be the first time the door of seals had been neutralized. At this moment, Mo Qingyun was shocked. Fong Peng and the other elders were shocked. They stood up from their seats in shock and stared at the black figure before Shi Huang Tian. It was a corpse. It was the corpse talisman sex attack. Shi Huang Tian actually knew the corpse talisman sex attack. In other words, Shi Huang Tian was really a traitor of the corpse talisman sect. Didn't that mean that Mo Qingyun was telling the truth? Fong Peng and the others were shocked when they realized this. They couldn't help but feel a lingering fear. With Shi Huang Tian's status in the Mao Talisman sect, if it wasn't for Mo Qingyun's sudden appearance, he would have most likely become the sect master of the Mao Talisman sect. Once Shi Huang Tian became the sect master of the Mao Talisman sect, he would work together with the Corpse Talisman sect, and the Mao Talisman sect would be in a dire situation. With this thought in mind, Fong Peng and the rest looked at Mo Qingyun with gratitude in their eyes. Mo Qingyun had saved the Mao Fu sect. "Shi Huang Tian, you bastard." After learning Shi Huang Tian's true identity, Fong Peng revealed a furious expression. He glared at Shi Huang Tian and said, "My Mao Talisman sect has wholeheartedly nurtured you, yet you're willing to become a spy for the Corpse Talisman sect? Are you worthy of all the years of nurturing you?" "Nurture?" Shi Huang Tian sneered when he heard Fong Peng's words. He replied, "Sect Master Fong, this young lord is the young master of the Corpse Talisman sect. Why would I need your Mao Talisman sect to nurture me? Also, let me tell you one more thing. This young lord's name is Corpse Huang Tian, not Shi Huang Tian." "Corpse Huang Tian? Shi Huang Tian?" Fong Peng and the others trembled when they heard Shi Huangtian's words. They instantly understood the crux of the matter. Shi Huangtian glanced at Fong Peng and the others whose expressions had changed drastically. He no longer paid any attention to them and turned to look at Mo Qingyun. Mo Qingyun, you're quite capable. You actually managed to guess my identity. Shi Huangtian praised Mo Qingyun before he revealed the smile of a superior. He tried to recruit Mo Qingyun. Since you're a moldable talent, I'll spare your life as long as you agree to serve me in the future. Spare my life? The corners of Mo Qingyun's mouth curled up slightly when he heard Shi Huangtian's words. He revealed a disdainful expression as he said, Shi Huangtian, you're already a person who's about to die. What qualifications do you have to make me serve you? This young lord is a person who's about to die. Mo Qingyun, are you joking with me? Shi Huangtian immediately revealed a brilliant smile when he heard Mo Qingyun's words. He said to the surroundings of the talisman battlefield in a deep voice, all right, everyone come out. The plan has to be brought forward. Today, all of you will follow this young lord to destroy the Mao Talisman sect. Powerful auras erupted from the surroundings of the talisman battlefield after Shi Huangtian's words left his mouth. These people's auras had actually reached the level of a 6th seal intermediate great talisman master. Fong Peng and the others' expressions changed again when they discovered this. They were truly shocked by this scene. They truly did not expect that Shi Huangtian had unknowingly placed his men in the Mao Talisman sect. Young lord, you finally decided to make a move. We've been waiting impatiently for so long. Fong Peng, you didn't expect this, right? Our Corpse Talisman sect's junior sect master will become the first junior sect master of your Mao Talisman sect. Unfortunately, a brat came out of nowhere and ruined the junior sect master's plan. What a damnable brat. That's right. If it wasn't for this brat, the junior sect master would have become the sect master of the Mao Talisman sect. This would have been very ironic for the Mao Talisman sect. At this moment, while everyone was shocked, numerous figures arrived behind Shi Huangtian. 3/6 Seal Advanced Great Talisman Masters, 24/6 Seal Intermediate Great Talisman Masters, and 73/6 Seal Initial Great Talisman Masters. Fong Peng and the others' faces turned ashen when they sensed the auras of the people behind Shi Huangtian. Despair could be seen on their faces. The Mao Talisman sect only had 3/6 Seal Intermediate Great Talisman Masters. How could they fight against Shi Huangtian and the others? The difference in strength between the two sides was simply too great. How? How could this be? When did the Corpse Talisman sect become so strong? 3/6 Seal Advanced Great Talisman Masters and 24/6 Seal Intermediate Great Talisman Masters. Could it be that our Mao Talisman sect is really going to be destroyed? No. This can't be real. This must be a misconception. The expressions of the Mao Talisman sect's elders changed drastically when they saw the people behind Shi Huangtian. They did not dare to believe this was real. Originally, in their understanding, the Mao Talisman sect's strength should be on par with the Corpse Talisman sect. However, the gap between them had suddenly become so great. It was understandable that they found it hard to accept. After all, this news had come too suddenly for Fong Peng. This tiny Corpse Talisman sect actually managed to raise the overall strength of the sect by so much in a few decades. Elder Tan frowned when he learned about the strength of the people behind Shi Huangtian. Doubt arose in his heart as he thought to himself. The aura of these people from the Corpse Talisman sect seems to be similar to the Corpse Puppet sect that was destroyed 5,000 years ago. Could it be that they obtained the inheritance of the Corpse Puppet sect? A look of understanding appeared on Elder Tan's face when he thought of this. He faintly guessed something in his heart. Forget it. I'll let the Mao Talisman sect and the Corpse Talisman sect deal with their own matters. It looks like I'll have to move to another place. Elder Tan shook his head with a helpless expression on his face. He looked at Mo Qingyun and said with a faint smile, "However, before I leave, I'll have to bring this brat with me. If this brat is nurtured well, perhaps he'll be an opportunity for our Artifact Talisman sect to rise." Chapter 589. At that moment, Elder Tan arrived beside Mo Qingyun. Shi Huangtian revealed a complacent smile. He raised his head arrogantly and said to Mo Qingyun, "Mo Qingyun, do you still think that I'm a person who's about to die?" Shi Huangtian spoke to Mo Qingyun in a condescending manner. He said to Mo Qingyun, "Mo Qingyun, since you're a talented person, I'll give you one last chance. Submit to me or die. Submit to you or die." Mo Qingyun immediately laughed when he heard Shi Huangtian's words. Shi Huangtian seemed to have stolen his line. "Shi Huangtian, in my eyes, you don't even have the qualifications to submit to me." Mo Qingyun smiled faintly and said disdainfully to Shi Huangtian. Then his tone changed, and he said coldly, "Originally, I was still thinking about when to make a trip to the Corpse Talisman sect and exterminate your Corpse Talisman sect. Now that you've come to the Thatch Talisman sect, it'll save me a trip." "Exterminate my Corpse Talisman sect? With just you?" Shi Huangtian immediately revealed a mocking smile when he heard Mo Qingyun's words. He said disdainfully to Mo Qingyun, "Mo Qingyun, you actually dare to say such words at a time like this? Could it be that you can't see the situation before you? They're merely a few Six-Seal advanced talisman masters. With just a few of them, they won't be able to protect you." Shi Huangtian. Mo Qingyun responded indifferently to Shi Huangtian's words. He smiled faintly and said, "It just so happens that the demonic beasts I've been raising haven't eaten for some time. Today, I'll use your corpses to feed them." Mo Qingyun, since you're so stubborn, don't blame me." When he saw Mo Qingyun's attitude, Shi Huangtian didn't say anything else to Mo Qingyun, and his expression instantly turned gloomy. He said coldly, "Even though it's quite a pity to refine you into a corpse puppet, I can only refine you into a corpse puppet since you're so ignorant of the situation. Little doll, don't think that you can be so arrogant just because you obtained the corpse puppet sex inheritance." At that moment, right after Shi Huangtian finished speaking, Elder Tan walked over with a disdainful expression. He coldly said to Shi Huangtian, "You want to touch my Tan Linjan's disciple? With just a few of you, it's impossible. If you don't know what's good for you, I don't mind having your Corpse Talisman sect follow in the footsteps of the Corpse Puppet sect." Hearing Elder Tan's words, Fong Peng and the others didn't know whether to laugh or cry. They looked at Mo Qingyun and Li Wuyo, speechless. These two fellows deserved to be called master and disciple. Their ability to talk big was exactly the same. Even at a time like this, Mo Qingyun and Li Wuyo were still able to act so pretentious. Indeed, it wasn't something that ordinary people could do. It turns out that he has such an expert protecting him. A demonic beast with 6 seals. Mo Qingyun is so terrifying. Dan Qing's expression twitched. She felt a lingering fear and cold sweat broke out on her forehead. Junior brother Mo is so strong. He is indeed the disciple of the ascetic cultivator. I didn't expect him to have such a trump card. No wonder he can train in Mu Bay Mountain without any worries. With this demonic beast with 6 seals, he won't have to worry about his life as long as he doesn't encounter too many silver-armored zombies. Zhang Jie and the others were also shocked when they saw Mo son beside Mo Qingyun. Their eyes were filled with reverence and admiration. At this moment, Zhang Jie and the others seemed to have found a definite answer to the doubts in their hearts. The demonic beast with junior brother Mo has already reached such a level. Then wouldn't his master be? After a brief moment of shock, Zhang Wei's expression suddenly changed as a shocking thought rose in her mind. If it was really as she thought, wouldn't Mo Qingyun's master be a demonic beast with 7 seals, or even stronger? A demonic beast with 7 seals could be considered a tyrant even in the 7 great ancient roads. So this kid has a demonic beast with 6 seals. No wonder he is so confident. Chapter 592. Sect Master, don't worry. I'll definitely do my best to protect Qing Yun. Elder Tan had a solemn expression on his face when he heard Fong Peng's words. Thank you, Elder Tan. Fong Peng had a solemn expression on his face when he heard Elder Tan's words. He nodded and thanked Elder Tan before he said in a deep voice, Elders, follow me into battle. A bunch of reckless fellows. Since you're courting death, I'll fulfill your wish. Shi Huangtian's expression immediately turned gloomy when he saw that Fong Peng intended to fight them to the death, and he spoke coldly. Elders, immediately attack the members of the Maofu sect. Don't let a single one of them escape. After he spoke these gloomy words, Shi Huangtian started giving instructions to the others behind him. After that, he raised his hand and pointed at Mo Qingyun, especially that kid. You must not allow him to escape. I'll tear him into 1,000 pieces later. Tear me into 1,000 pieces? Mo Qingyun smiled indifferently when he heard Shi Huangtian's words. He glanced at the people behind Shi Huangtian with disdain and said, Shi Huangtian, all of you were beaten up like dead dogs when you were at your peak. Now that you're on the verge of death, do you think you can still fight me? Mo Qingyun smiled faintly after he spoke those words. He looked at Fong Peng and the others and said, Sect Master, you don't have to worry. The Maofu sect won't be annihilated today. Qingyun, this isn't the time to act tough. You mustn't be careless. Fong Peng's expression froze when he saw Mo Qingyun's expression. He wanted to persuade Mo Qingyun. However, Mo Qingyun raised his hand and interrupted Fong Peng before he could finish speaking. After interrupting Fong Peng's words, Mo Qingyun smiled faintly at him and said, Sect Master, you and the other elders can leave first. Leave this to me. This. Fong Peng hesitated when he heard Mo Qingyun's words. He was hesitating if he should leave. Sect Master, since Qingyun has said so, let's do as he says. While Fong Peng was hesitating, Elder Tan smiled faintly and gave Fong Peng some words of encouragement. Elders, let's go to the side and observe the situation. Hearing Elder Tan's words, Fong Peng hesitated for a moment before leading the elders to the side. Oof. Arrogant and conceited brat. Shi Huangtian's expression immediately turned gloomy when he saw Mo Qingyun's actions. He stared coldly at Mo Qingyun and said, Mo Qingyun, since you're so eager to die, we'll kill you first. Then, we'll slowly deal with the others from the Maofu sect. I'm in a hurry to die. Mo Qingyun's eyes narrowed slightly when he heard that. He looked at Shi Huangtian with a mocking gaze and said coldly, If that's the case, Shi Huangtian, you better watch carefully and see if I'm in a hurry to die. As soon as Mo Qingyun finished speaking, several black figures appeared beside him.